in 2014, 2015, I was charging the same as Casper and Black Coffee when it comes to speaking.
Imagine that.
Yeah. When I'm now popping and relevant and I have money, I got distracted. And then we started losing everything bit by bit, taking from Peter to pay Paul. And the biggest loss was 2 days before the end of 2017 was losing my gran.
Distant.
And by the way, I'm not just a South African. I'm a national treasure.
Listen to that.
King David Studio podcast.
I have a someone I regard very highly. Not really for the business, for the bravery to start a business or the bravery to follow through, for some of the brave moments in his life. I think is a very brave guy. And I want to see more of that bravery. Like, I want him to be a president soon, sooner than he thinks, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because I love that he's very brave. He calls himself Skinny Sbu. His mother said Sbu Socks, and we have him here. I think he's a rock star in my tiny little world. And here he is, Sbu Kren.
Wow. Angimnandi. I'm happy. And thank you for validating my dream of becoming a president.
Yes.
The calling is becoming louder and louder and louder, particularly over the past 2 months.
Yeah.
I am involving myself in conversations that involve like emancipating the youth. I'm involving myself in conversations that will grow and move the country forward. Yeah. I necessarily wouldn't want to become president any time in the next 20 years because I have my own personal ambitions as well that I want to fulfill.
And I thought this was a big one. You still have other things you want to take on.
I still have other things. No, I still want to be the world's best husband to my wife.
Wow.
I want to be an incredible father, and I want to immerse myself in it. I want to be a billionaire before I become a president.
Okay, you can buy it. You can once you become a billionaire, you can buy the presidency. It's Africa, man.
But also part of it is because I think Cyril, our current president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, was supposed to be president after Nelson. And Nelson Mandela said he mustn't be president. He's still young. He must go make money, then come back and be president. So I really want to take that model. I also want to travel the world and study how other democracies are functioning so that I can take that and plant it here.
I'll tell you immediately, you should go check out Denmark.
Okay.
They get it wrong, but they get it right a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They get looking after their people very well.
Is it not because of the size of the population?
That's true. Yeah, it's a 5-6 million population.
Yeah.
But
that's Joburg.
Absolutely, that's Joburg. That's interesting. That's Zimbabwe and so forth.
Ooh.
It's small countries. They get looking after their people really, really well.
Yeah.
What they're starting to get wrong. And if you've been living inside this little thing for so long and suddenly there are people who are walking in, you start getting a little unsettled. So the immigration issues are becoming really problematic.
Okay.
Yeah. Like those that don't want foreign nationals, they are starting to be louder in Denmark. And for a long, long time, they were just great with looking after their people.
Okay.
So in Denmark, when you're pregnant, when your wife is pregnant, she can stay home for the whole year.
Wow.
And get a stipend from government, and a good stipend. You imagine that. Wow. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
When she gives birth, for about a week or so, they get a room the size of the studio. That's a family unit. And there's beds and all for you and the husband and the child. And you get a box of goodies from government.
That's crazy.
When you go immediately after giving birth, that says, well done. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. Yeah. In that goodie bag, there's books for your kids, books for you to know how to raise a child. There's diapers, you name it.
What?
So they get it right. You're right, though. It's a tiny little population.
Yeah. But we're on the right path.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. You're the first person to be that optimistic in the studio. Nobody's ever that optimistic in here. So
I'm a very optimistic person about anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, man. Where do you get it? Where do you get this optimism?
I think it comes from my late grandmother, the beautiful Mimi Salamina Mulake. I believe she's with me whenever I mention her name, even right now. She passed on in 2017 going into 2018. I call 2017 a year of loss for me. I think we'll talk about it a bit later. And my grandmother was the most optimistic human on earth who was born to two parents who separated, and her mom was sick all of her life.
Ooh.
They never had a stable home. But when my grandmother passed on, she had 2 properties. And right now, I have a home for life because of that woman.
What?
Yeah.
How the hell did you pull it off?
I don't know. She's been a hustler. From day one, she taught me how to hustle. Go ga ne rekisa difatuku, tights, slippers. She'd give me money for taxi to come to Joburg and stock, and we go back and sell. So my grandmother always believed in atimelu uyenzi into yezandla. You know, she didn't believe in having a full-time job, but she wanted you to just use your hands for anything. You know, she was a dressmaker, worked in the heydays of South African factory worker days in the country. So
70s and 80s.
Yeah, yes. So she really would just like take anything and sell it and fix it, and she encouraged me to do that, and which is why from a very young age I think I started being an entrepreneur in primary school. Goshetrek Mbambo Primary School under the leadership of ZZ Mxasa.
Wow, listen to that.
Proud Xhosa.
You say it with such pride. It's clearly an important moment in your life as well.
It is, because one, it was 5 minutes away from home.
No jahai.
Yeah, sometimes up until they had a better barricade gate. You know? But I'd go eat home. I'd leave to school for like five minutes before the time. We had clean, beautiful water. It was a beautiful environment, you know. And I wasn't exposed to the big world outside, and my world was still perfect at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to myself, you know what, I want to start a business, and I started selling sweets to my peers.
But why did the thought even cross your mind?
Because we were in a 3-room shack, and in as much as the family environment was warm and beautiful and loving, I knew something was wrong here. I couldn't put a finger on it, because our household was not the only one that was mkuku. You know, there were other people, so it was a bit normal. But as you bring your friends or other schoolmates pass by, they highlight where you live.
Oh yes,
and then you're conscientized of it. And then you visit other family members who live in bigger homes. Then you realize,
your situation.
Yeah, our situation is not that perfect. So I think I really thought with my money, in the grand scheme of things, I'd really change our home and stuff. So
who made it? And I almost expect the answer to be your grandma, but let's see.
Yeah.
Who made the environment that was clearly not similar to others?
Yeah.
That was a difficult, impoverished environment. Somebody had to make it look easy to live in, or simplify it, or make it seem like, this is how we live.
Normal. I think everybody played their part, you know. My the matriarch of the family, of course, Natlisabu Futu, you know, like we had a coal stove. When you wake up, like it was just so warm.
Jeez.
And then my mom taught me how to read and write English. And she would bring magazines. I remember when Kanye Lomo became the first female black editor, you know, all those things. My mom exposed me to the world of media. She would come to Tando here in Hillbrow to party, you know, because she was very young when she got me and my sister. So my mom exposed me a lot to the world of media. My aunt, Liana, she just push me to be whoever I wanted to be. Jeez. You know,
you had a good thing going.
I had a good thing going on. My current business partner, who's my uncle, Sandy Lembelegwane, he's a numbers guy. You know, he's the one who would encourage education. And my sister, who's my first best friend, I always say this, I wanted to be everything she wanted to be. So I had different people at home who exposed me to different worlds, whether through TV or reading or just stories from my grandmother, who just exposed me to different worlds. And that made my stay in that 3-room green mkuku very comfortable and happy and warm.
Back in those days, mkukus were in in other people's backyards.
Yeah.
What setup did you have? Because very often cuckoos now, unfortunately, with the kind of government we have, we've led to a scenario where you have an entire township of cuckoos. When we were growing up, there was a house, a 4-roomed house maybe, and then cuckoo at the back.
Yeah.
What setup did you have?
Runa, my grandmother, it was just a stand. So my grandmother went to moved from Davidton to Tsakane when Tsakane was still being established.
Yeah.
So she bought an entire stand for like probably $70.
Yeah, those days.
You know, so she bought a stand and had her own cuckoo there. So we had an entire yard to ourselves.
And there were other neighbors who had
neighbors.
houses.
It was almost similar, but I think it was me and our neighbor, and then the 2 homes next to us. And those big homes, they were massive. You couldn't miss them, you know. But we had a bit of cuckoos there and big homes around. So it was a mix. And I think TD Jake says this. He says people who grow fast and are able to escape poverty are people who live in mixed use environments, you know. So if people kim cuckoo fella, those people won't grow. You know. But if it's some cuckoos and big homes, that you aspire to that.
Because you're exposed to a different results of life.
Yeah.
And then if it's yours and cuckoo and the neighbor has got, you know, big windows.
Yeah.
You aspire to be like them. Wow.
You're encouraged.
Your schooling. You speak so proudly about it. Township school, nothing fancy. No private education.
No multiracial, no private anything. But here's the trick about me, and I've always known that I'm going to be a man of influence, and I've never. Like I didn't azange schema kids who come from the same background as me. So I've always deliberately made friends who come from a better environment.
Okay.
You know, because I wanted better and I wanted to be exposed to better.
What did you get from that decision?
It accelerates your success, your chances of success, you know, but also you learn how other families are living, and then you can come in a very small way or in your own way and implement whatever the other people are doing, you know. As a very small thing is like, you know, a friend of mine, they had a very nice bathroom and he would look forward to going to bathing at home. So let not go to a small dishy there and every day and just nyokeza.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
So I think it's those small things that I started implementing at a very young age. Yeah.
Ubogeza ngesikhohle.
Yeah. Ngivaskom. But I don't know, because at the time that was my world. We made it work, and I won a certificate for cleanliness for a couple of years.
What, at school?
At school, yeah, you know, because my family was like that, and I was like that as well. I've always been in a leadership position. I was a class rep throughout my primary school career. Only except for 1 year, you know.
Look like that year was a problem.
It was a terrible year for me. I didn't like it.
What happened?
I don't remember. I don't want to remember it, David.
But it's the year you didn't become a class rep.
It's the 1 year I didn't become a class rep.
So leadership has obviously been in your DNA.
Yeah, definitely. It's always been in my DNA. And let me tell you this incredible story. So I think the SABC had a young filmmakers project, and they opened it up to kids to submit scripts. You know, and I wrote a movie about this kid who grew up in an impoverished environment, and one day he'd grow up and be a king. You know, and it's funny how I look at the trajectory of my life, that I come from that. It's as though I had prophesied where I'm going from a very young age. You know, a king for me would represent whatever leadership position I've been in so far and wherever I'm going. You know, so I think it's the power of manifestation, the power of writing things down, the power of prayer as well, because I'm a huge spiritual person. Always have been. Since the age of 7 and 10, that's as far I can remember my relationship with God. So I'm also grateful as well for growing up where I grew up, because it brought me closer to God.
Yeah. Here's it's something that we have in common, you and I, altar boys.
Yep, I was an altar boy too.
I was.
Altar boy too.
Yes, I know. When I found out, I was like, hell, there are too many altar boys that keep coming to my studio. Jeez, man. And what got you to do it? Because there were so many other options. I remember how I got to be an altar boy.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with God. It had everything.
Was it a girl?
No, nothing that crazy. There were no girls when I was altar boy. It was when being altar boy was still quite sexist.
Okay.
There were no girls. It was just boys in a true sense. And it was, it was. I wanted to do so many different things that became one of them.
Okay.
You know, when you're sitting in church, and they just look cool, man.
Yeah.
They're wearing these robes, and this guy's just swinging the Tory fifth. I remember the name, and it's smoke all over the place. Like, I want to do that. Wow. So I was just a curious kid, but I fell in love with it so much. I did it for probably about 3 years or so.
Okay.
So what was your reason? How did you end up becoming?
My reason was I grew up a very quiet kid. I didn't play any sports whatsoever, you know, but I've always seen myself in leadership positions, wearing a suit and a tie, you know. So another element is that my grandmother gave all of her kids freedom to follow whatever spiritual journey they want. So my business partner, my uncle Sandile, is from a charismatic Bazalwane background. My grandmother believes in Badimu, and my mom is from a Catholic background. Wow. She went to school there, been there all her life. So as her kids were almost coerced to that, you know.
Of course, yeah.
You go to Riakoroma Kaufela. And because I couldn't sing or do any other thing, I was like, let me go for that. It wasn't necessarily a spiritual calling or thing. It's just that I needed to contribute to the church, and that felt like the right thing. But it was a good journey for me because I started communicating and connecting with God from a very young age because of that one thing. But my journey with contributing to the church didn't end there, because I think at the age of 10, which was a very critical age for me, still is. I've only lived 30 years, so 10 is very critical.
Well, it is.
You know, because it's the 1 year my mom gave me and my sister liberty to do whatever we wanted to do.
Wow.
So
that was early.
Yeah, it was very early.
Yes.
I respect my mom for that, you know. So we're talking about 3 things. I'll remember them just now. The first thing was our father, you know, he was not in our lives. My mom has never said in a single bad thing about my dad.
Jeez.
But every second weekend she'd take us from Tsakane to Daveyton to visit him. And she asked us, do you guys still want to go visit him? Me and my sister were like, nope. We're making efforts to go see Mji.
This guy
is not returning the favor. We don't want money. We just want return the favor.
Yeah.
You know? So that was the first thing. Another thing was the schools. She asked us, are you comfortable at the schools you're at? It's not like we had any other options. But we had other options, Kokas.
Yes.
But we said we cool there. And then it was church as well. Are you comfortable where you are? We're like, no, would like to change. And then we followed our uncle to Apostolic Faith Mission in Tsakane, and we went there because it was the most vibrant church. You know,
you like the noise.
We love the noise. You know, they had an artistic director, Kena Mahlangu, who was one of the first black guys to study film at AFDA. So he'd bring all these celebrities and filmmakers to church.
What?
That church made a lot of noise.
Yes.
I think that is when I also started finding out, I'm interested in storytelling. I'm interested in broadcasting in TV. I'm interested in all those things. But also he was my uncle's best friend. So during school holidays, he'd come and tell us live on set.
So the proximity to him is probably what contributed a lot to your life.
Even a lot.
Yeah.
Because Kena Mahlangu would go on and become my mentor throughout my 20s and
That's
introduce
amazing.
me to the world of business and media.
But I must tell you, your mom's foresight to do that early in your life, that is quite a big shift. And it's not something you find in a lot of black families. You're a kid, man. You're 10. What do you know?
Yeah.
You one, you're going to visit your dad. 2, that's the school you're going to. And I say Sontoin.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And your mom's foresight. Tell me a little bit about her, because clearly it takes a special person to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah. My mom got pregnant with my older sister Smiley when she was 18, and she got me when she was 20. And obviously that was not a good there
Of course,
at
yeah.
the time,
Yeah.
you know. And because of, I think, the age gap, she raised us more like her friends.
Oh.
So even right now, our relationship is much tighter. I usually spend my Saturdays with my mom and my sister. That Saturday I was with them.
Yes.
You know.
Wow.
So we more like we're just three best friends.
Mhm.
And she really had a great foresight. She was very smart. She is very smart.
How much education did she do? Because
I think-
pregnancy tends to disrupt your
Yeah,
education.
no, she didn't finish her matric. I
Yeah.
think she probably ended up at grade 11.
Wow.
And immediately after that, she was working at restaurants. So she's worked at every restaurant you can imagine. I started working at a restaurant as well in grade 11, even my sister as well. You know, so she pushed
Yeah.
independence at a very young age.
So
And
she was quite exposed, it seems.
She was quite exposed, and she never spoke to us like kids. Of course, there was that mother-kid dynamic. But I remember this one time she bought me white sneakers and I was like, ngafuni lawa, it's not a certain brand. And she was like, yo, dog, listen, I don't have money. This is what I have. When one day you have money, you'll buy yourself whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know. So in as much as my mom would shout like any mother and stuff, but she was able to come down to our level.
What?
And speak to us like her peers. And I think that's the reason why even today me and my sister respect our mom so much, because she sees us.
And a relationship with your dad, did that take any shape at all?
My relationship with my dad has evolved over the years, you know.
He's still around.
He's still around. My dad is one hot guy somewhere in Davidton who looks exactly like me.
I like that. I like that. He's one hot guy.
Yeah, he's a looker. He's light skinned, good, well spoken and stuff, you know. And my relationship went from a young boy who needed his father, because when in my teenage years or pre-teen years, everything was about my dad bought me this, my dad bought me this. So I needed him so much.
Because you couldn't tell those stories.
I couldn't tell those stories. I went from needing him to extreme anger in my late teens going into my 20s. And I think I'll tell you, I started forgiving my father when I started making a lot of money. And I realized that in terms of support, I don't really need him that much, you know, but I started having empathy for him. I started really questioning without him answering, but I started questioning inside myself the reasons why he couldn't be in my life. I started making good excuses for him.
Did you ever have a conversation with him?
I've never had conversation with him. I'm banking that because I'm working on a reality show. So I think that would make good content.
That's true.
Yeah, that will make good content.
That's
So
true.
I am still planning to go see my dad in person, but I'd like for cameras to be there.
Do you have a relationship with him at all now?
No relationship at all. No relationship at all. I had to forgive him because Zola 7 said this. He said, you cannot do the Zola 7 show if you still have anger.
Yeah.
You know, you can't perform at that level when you're angry. So I started my journey of forgiving him, I think 3 years ago. And because I realized that if unforgiveness is you eating poison and expecting the next person to die.
It's a burden.
Yeah, it's a burden. So I would really like to go to him and tell him that I forgive him.
And he's never made an effort at all. Still, even now.
No.
Jeez.
Nothing at all.
So beyond the 10-year Sbu, whose mom decided if you don't want to go to your dad, it's okay. Did you have any visits at all?
There were visits in between.
Yeah.
I think up until the age of 23, there were efforts I made.
Okay.
There were efforts he made.
Yeah.
You know, but what I realized from our last interaction, which is probably more than 5 years ago, is that he was still stuck in the past. Here's my mom not saying any bad thing about him, and here's this guy who's trying to antagonize my mom.
That's incredible.
You know, so for me, because of the relationship I had with my mom and my grand, my grand was clear before she passed on with the dog. Anybody opatuma makoga be careful of that person, you know. So I really want to go to my dad and have a grown-up man-to-man
Man-to-man
conversation with him in terms of I don't foresee a relationship going forward.
Yeah.
You know, because David, I have a lot on my plate. Hey, like I have a lot.
You don't have this one to manage.
No,
as
I
well.
don't have capacity for new relationships.
It's amazing how
Yeah.
we're talking about your dad here, and you're saying you don't have.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Also because of age and experience, I know anything you take up right now needs maintenance.
That's true.
So I don't have the energy.
How kulile ntwana?
I don't have the energy to maintain any other relationship from here.
Jeez, man,
Yeah.
that's a very grown-up statement you just made there. You realize that?
Yeah. But I also every day I pray to God that may God empty my heart. I don't want to be bitter. I really want to truly 100% forgive him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not feel anything.
And
about
not
it.
feel anything.
Do you still feel something now?
He's my dad.
Of course.
I'm 50% him.
Of course.
You know, I still feel something, and I think right now I'm realizing that I will forever feel something for him because he's my pops. He's my dad.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Is it what do you define this emotion as currently? As I don't know. Actually, you tried to answer it. I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many possible emotions. Anger being one of them still, or you know what? I love him as my dad, and I bless him. And you know what emotion do you feel?
I don't have an ounce of anger.
Oh,
You go to my whiteboard right now in my place. It's written, forgive myself and forgive others 7 times a day.
ooh.
So before I sleep, I empty myself. And as I wake up, I empty myself because I operate at a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
Even right now, like 2 weeks ago when I was going to the States, we had a bit of money issues with someone else. They ran away with my 100K, you know, in the middle of everything. But every day I pray that may I let them go. I don't even want to follow up. Moving on to the next.
I want that right now. But anyway, it's a story we'll speak of air.
Yeah.
I need to let go of
I really want to let go because to be honest with you, I told you what I want to do. You know, I want to be president. I want to be a father. I want to be a billionaire. I want to take over a lot of things. So I can't even get a grudge for even the Uber driver that took me here.
Yes.
You know, so I need to quickly
move on. Because you hold on to it. There's a story of I may not remember these people. Their religion is about do not touch a woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the religion until you're married to them or something.
Okay.
So they get to a river. Actually, I think it's a story that's told in Eckhart Tolle's book.
Yeah.
I
love Eckhart Tolle.
Yes, there you go. They get to a river where there's this lady whose dress is getting soiled by mud and it's getting dirty because of where they are. One of these 2 guys decides to pick this lady up and help her cross this river, and the other one doesn't. They walk, they carry on with their journey, and 5 hours later, the one that didn't help to carry to pick this lady up says, "Why did you do that? You know our religion doesn't allow us to do that."
Yeah.
And he says, "Dude, you're still carrying her.
Wow.
I left her 5 hours ago.
Yep.
You're still carrying her."
Yep.
So it speaks to that you know you carry this burden that you shouldn't be carrying.
You shouldn't. Like we have limited time on earth, and people don't realize that.
Yeah.
I nearly passed on 2018.
Jeez, what was wrong?
I was involved in a car accident with 2 of my best friends in my car. We're driving to Cape Town. I'd driven 16 hours. We were left with just 2 hours to get to Cape Town. We just simply peacefully fell asleep. Peacefully. So I look at those incidences, and every time a plane takes off or it lands and stuff, I'm like, this is grace. We don't know what's holding a plane up there. You know? So I'm one person, especially after the passing of my gran, which was the most closest death for me. I am so aware of death and that I can't hold on to anything.
You know, being aware of death is there's a lot of people who've achieved great things who go back to being aware of death as an important part of they now had to work at speed because they had not a lot of time. Steve Jobs' story also speaks of that at some point, that once he had this terminal disease, he had to move fast.
In fact, you know, we don't know how long we have here, and let's just keep it moving.
You sound like the type of guy whose dreams are presidency being one of them, but your dreams I've always been big.
Yep.
Take me back to when your dreams started becoming a thing in your mind.
Because I grew up alone, I didn't have many friends, or I didn't go. I started making adult choices at a very young age. I remember before I became an altar boy, I had to make a conscious decision to leave my friends because I wanted this position so much and I wanted to perform well at school.
Wow.
And I knew that I can't perform well at school and be an altar boy and still be cool in the streets. And,
so
I had to cut that off. And I think pre-teen days and during my teenage years, the biggest thing that pushed me to really see my dreams vividly was this one thing. My mom was not working. I took her to church. It was the time now we transitioned to the charismatic church. I took her to Wednesday prayer, and my request to God was, God, if you give my mom a job, I won't be involved in any romantic relationship till I'm 20. So I had a pact with,
that's a big one.
with God.
Yeah.
Not knowing that I was helping myself, because right now in hindsight, it means that from the age of 10 till 20, I dated myself.
Essentially, yeah.
I went out with myself. I went out to find out what it is that I want, that I like, that I want in life. I started watching grown-up conversations. I'm a student of Oprah, TD Jakes, Trevor Noah. So from a very young age, I've been exposed to all those conversations, and I knew that I need to dream bigger for me to escape that environment.
The importance of teen years, where your decisions are made, where your future is laid, but largely is where your mind gets solidified into a personality. And you're saying that time in your life, you look back at it as an important time of your life.
It was the most critical time of my life, because it's the reason why by age 21, I already had a business, because I had been planning for the 10 years before that. It's the reason why by the age of 22, 23, I was on Forbes 30 under 30. I was growing a global brand. I had the accoutrements of success as well, because for 10 years of my life before then, I was plotting.
You were not distracted by the normal distractions of a South African teen.
They got me around 24. When I'm now popping and relevant and I have money, I got distracted.
When you shake adolescents, I know those times. But it seems like you got over it quickly as well.
It wasn't... Well, for me personally, because I lived through it, it wasn't quick. I'm still paying for it. Like, David, look at this. I started my business at 21. I went to Mr. Price. I bought 14 pairs of socks. I repackaged them and I started selling them. I bought them for 5 rand. I started selling them for 25 rands. And because I'm a student of publicity and media, I knew how to package my story very well. And I started putting it on social media. CNN picked up my story. The first time I was on TV, I was on CNN.
Imagine that.
I moved from a guy who's selling socks in a brown paper bag in a train to now having an investor, to having a big business that I'm running.
How old are you still? Let's keep reminding ourselves how old you are.
I was still 21.
Yes.
I was still 21, 22, and then my life changed. I went on a 5-year high from 21 till 25, 26. I was living a dream. Like, it was fuzzy. Every day, even for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was too good to be true. And I think because I was immature, I wanted to run it back to where it started. I wanted to finish it all to stage one, because I was growing in leaps and bounds. Like, after the success of Sbu Socks, it meant the success of my personal brand and career. So I became a speaker. I was speaking throughout the country. I had booking, probably 3 bookings a week.
Jeez.
In 2014, 2015, I was charging the same as Casper and Black Coffee when it comes to speaking.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And you were a kid.
And I'm a kid. So I was in that 5-year high up until everything just came to an end at age 26, 27. That was the year of the loss.
Oh, yes.
2017. We opened 2017, March. My uncle is like, Sbu, we are not looking good. We're not performing like we are.
Like we've been.
The past 4 or 5 years. And then we had to start downgrading. So I sold my car at the time.
Jeez.
We left with the company car. I had to move to a much smaller space. I had to just downgrade my lifestyle. And then we started losing everything bit by bit, taking from Peter to pay Paul. And the biggest loss was 2 days before the end of 2017 was losing my gran. And then 30 days later, I got into that car accident, which the last car was lost with that. So I basically went back home on the eve of being 27 in a taxi. I was humbled.
Let's talk about this humility.
Yeah.
What car had you driven at some point? So we speak in relation to this taxi moment.
Well, I can't mention brands because I'm speaking to another brand right now.
The German brand. German car.
Yeah, German brands.
A German luxury car.
A German luxury car.
Yeah.
But also not only my own cars, I had other endorsement deals as well with two major brands who were fighting for me.
Wow.
So everything was on an upward trajectory at the time. Like everything was just cool. And then my mentor, Sbu Socks, founder of Avatar Agency, said, Sbu, that was God just trying to save you from self-destruction.
Yeah.
And Lynn and I can agree. The most critical time in my life has been the past 3 years leading up to 30.
So you're saying that high was not really a good thing?
At the time, David, I'm going to be honest with you, it was great, man.
Of course. If you watch the episode of I Blew It, of course it's great.
that time, in all honesty, has been the best time of my life so far. Because remember, I grew up in Kalendlini. I was a homebody, planning all of my teens to leave home because I left home a month after matric. I left home, came to Joburg to come and pursue the dream. I wanted to be an actor because...
Yeah, I've reading your stories like, hey, man, this guy wanted to be on Generation.
I'm sorry, I'm going to take you back.
No, and I don't mind.
You must catch up.
Interesting. I can tell you your life story back.
Okay.
That's how much preparation I've got.
So living home, I left home with two of my best friends.
Yeah.
And
one of them is actually made it as well.
He's made it. He's killing it. Maker.
Yes.
And Julius Mpumelelo Kumalo, who's a marketing extraordinaire. We left Tsakane a month after matric, came to Joburg. We lived in one bedroom together. We only had $100, a sponge and one bed.
So you made it work.
We just made it work. Our thing was just to be in Joburg. That's it. We wanted to be in this environment that we grew up hearing other people talking about, So our thing was like, if we're in Joburg, our dreams are going to come to life. Because remember, at a high school level, my last 3 years of high school, I went to a school, an art school. I did speech and drama.
Okay.
With an intention of becoming South Africa's biggest actor.
Who did you look up to there?
Tumisho Masha. No doubt.
Really?
Tumisho Masha. And funny enough, 2 months after getting to Joburg, I meet Tumisho Masha.
There's a dream coming. There's manifestation.
I told him, Tumisho, I want to do this thing with you. And he's mentored me since that day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And your story also, that was gap year in a traditional sense.
It was gap year, yeah.
Even though for you, it wasn't gap year.
I was not planning for me to have a gap year because remember, David, now my life was planned to the T.
Jeez.
So already in high school, by grade 11, I had already applied at AFTA to
okay. But then what created that gap year then?
I didn't have money to go study at AFTA.
That's it, yeah.
AFTA is a private film institution.
Terribly expensive.
It's expensive, So now this one person, I don't have option B. I planned for one thing. So my life was covered. After high school, I'm going to AFTA. And unfortunately, in 2010, when we had the World Cup, it was my first year in Joburg. I couldn't go to AFTA. I was not registered anywhere, but I was still coming to Joburg. Got a job at the Bedford Hotel.
Okay.
Worked there for 3 months. I had a blast.
And it's still in the East End, kind of.
Yeah, still in the Eastern kind of, but I was still living in Joburg. So I
Okay.
traveled to the East and come back. But it wasn't for me. This one manager was like, Sbu, I'm going to fire you because you don't belong here. I'm going to do you a favor. And
what job were you doing again?
I think it was an internship, and then after the internship, you'd then be placed somewhere. So we're just doing a like general work.
Yeah.
Do you
remember that salary?
It was 1.8,
and it was good enough.
It was good enough to pay for rent, because remember, rent was 750.
Okay,
so I had,
and you get guys as well. Yeah.
So we're sharing. So it was good enough for me. But I remember when I left, I had left because I went to an audition, and I made friends were there at the casting, and then those friends introduced me to the world of promo. So we're doing promotions at the mall, and they told me, dog, you can make 1.8 in a weekend. So I'm like, I am leaving that job now. I sent a resignation, and I started doing promos at the time, the whole of 2010, up until I got a full-time sales job at Samsung, and it paid me good money.
You know, one thing that we were talking about before all of this, that you're going to remind me how old I am.
Yeah.
I will remind you how young you are.
Okay.
When I was growing up, there was no Samsung. It wasn't a big brand. If it existed, it wasn't a big brand. Look at you. One of your first jobs is working for Samsung.
But also at the time, the smartphone revolution was starting.
Yes.
So I was part of the Samsung 100 project.
Okay.
The first smartphone at Samsung, and they gave me those phones. Yeah. They gave me a great salary and with great benefits, and I saved enough money to take myself to school. Because remember, at the time, I still wanted to go to school.
Go to school,
For me,
yeah.
I needed that validation to saying I went to school. So I registered at the University of Johannesburg.
No more after,
because it was out of my range. But also that 12 months it had shaped me so much and exposed me to so much. And also Tumisho Masha had told me this. He said, Sbu, I wouldn't advise you to go study drama at a tertiary level or film or things like that. I'd advise you to do management or business so that you can support your craft.
Yeah.
You are gifted, and
you'll
you can
be fine.
get training on the side if you want to. You'll be fine. As long as you know the business of what we're doing, you're gonna be nice.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I now wanted to go to an institution like the University of Johannesburg.
So you did register at UJ?
I did register at UJ. I did my first year at UJ. I did politics.
Of all things.
Because remember, I want to be president.
As far back as that?
Yeah.
I thought the president thing was
David.
It's when Zuma was doing his
guy
things.
who nominated himself to be class rep in high school.
It's like, no one will nominate me here.
Yeah, because I was new. Remember, at my art school, I got there in grade 10. So I was the new guy. Nobody knows me. They busy picking people there, and I'm like, ngathi ngiyasala. Raise my hand. I said Sbu Socks, and people laughed and they voted me for that.
Listen to that. Eh? Wow. So you might as well do politics.
So I might as well do politics, but also there were a lot of reasons why I wanted to go to UJ. UJ is still, for me, still one of the coolest universities around. And once you get inside, you realize that there's an eclectic mix of people. So you have someone super poor from rural KZN to a minister's last born who drives a Mac in school. So that
and you're in the same class.
You're in the same class, So that mix was great for me. But also I wanted to use the resources at school, so you have access to the internet, you have access to a lot of things that were happening. And I also had access to the UJ Drama Company, which is a mix of professional actors and directors in the industry and students.
So you didn't completely disconnect from the dream?
Nah.
Even though you were studying politics?
I was also still with UJFM at the time.
Interesting. When you said UJ is so dynamic, one thing that always crosses my mind about UJ is UJFM. They have produced so many jokes for 5FM.
Yep.
It's actually quite incredible.
It's incredible. It's a great training ground. Like, as a student, you have access to a professional studio any time of the day, So for me, I went to UJ for all those reasons. But a part of it as well, I wanted to study the art and science of politics.
Yeah.
But also towards the end of the year, the calling for me to leave the institution was loud, and I had to go deregister.
What noise were you hearing with that calling?
It's the same calling, funny enough, that I'm still feeling right now. We'll talk about it when we get to this part of my life. But the 70,000 students were too small of a crowd for me.
Okay.
You know,
what does that mean? That's a lot of people.
No, it's not a lot of people.
What is the capacity of the FNB Stadium? I think 95,000.
Yeah.
That's not a bad crowd.
That's not a bad crowd, but it's too small. But also when you realize that it's the same year that Bonang dropped out. So you're like, why am I here when Queen Bee is leaving to conquer the world outside?
Wow, okay.
You know? It was...
The world was becoming, maybe this is what I should...
Yeah, maybe this is what I want to do as well. Okay. And also, because everything I was doing for free, I wanted now to do it professionally, you know.
What do you mean? What were you doing for free?
I was doing radio for free.
Okay, all those.
I was doing drama for free. It was just pure passion.
So you were feeling like, I
wanted to do what I was still doing, but to be paid for it.
Okay.
Because I'm giving so much of my time. You know, I only attend one class, but the rest of the day I probably I had a full-time job. I had a job, a part-time job to pay rent. And then the rest of my time is spent there. I get to drama rehearsal from 6 till 10 at night. Jeez. You know, so it's taking up most of my time. So it might as well pay me.
It's amazing because one thing that we learn is that university dropouts become very successful.
Do you think so?
Well, we have some of the people that are controlling the world right now, university dropouts.
I think it's a personal drive and ambition thing. It's not necessarily because if you drop out, you're gonna be successful.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
There's more people who dropped out. It didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, I just mentioned people who felt like Scala was
school is for certain people. My sister is going for another qualification. She's been at school for over 10 years and still maintaining full-time jobs.
She keeps going.
She keeps going. So if there are people who really love it, you know, and I'd encourage those people to go for it. But if you feel like there's a disconnect, because it becomes much harder for you to study if you don't like it.
When there's no passion, the work gets really unpleasant.
And also because my dream was also becoming clearer and clearer. Here am I am mixing with your Tomisho Masha of the world. They are taking me to better casting directors and stuff. So my dream is so I'm like, let me go and give my all to this thing. And I deregistered, by the way, to tell people I didn't drop out.
Yes,
so I officially went in
and
I said I am leaving so I can still be credited for my year when I want to go back and study.
Yeah.
You know? So I left school in 2010. 2011, I went in hard with all the castings and the auditions, 2011 and 2012, and it was taking forever, you know. So for me to just supplement my lifestyle or my livelihood, to pay rent and to have taxi money, I just started this small sock business.
So it
came in. That was not the plan.
It's interesting how they say, you know, wow, that was load shedding.
Really?
Right, Shakes? Is it? Yes, it is. Most likely. We have a blink in the office. We have solar panels.
When it switches.
It is. We have solar panels. So we always notice the blink. I don't always like it, but it is what it is. Because it switches some things off.
Ooh,
yes, but fortunately, we're good here.
Good.
Yes. It's country of ours. One day, maybe you'll fix electricity.
We'll sort it out. Don't stress.
We're waiting for you.
I got you.
That's why I want you to be president next week. The sock business.
Yeah.
As much as I know now the reason why. Why socks? Dude, you could have sold cool drink for all I care.
Yeah.
Because, and I think what made, and from someone who was just observing you, what made your business interesting for all of us to watch was like, of all things, this guy has decided to sell bloody socks.
Yeah.
we buy these things all the time. Half the time you lose one, you don't know where the other one is. And you chose socks of all things. Why? There must be a clear enough reason for it.
I think it was a matter of opportunity, because remember at the time, Tepo, Julius and I were attending a lot of Fashion Week.
Oh.
So that was our exposure to the world of fashion and the world of entertainment mixed together. So I grew tired of going to Fashion Week just for the pictures. And we realized we're spending a lot of money on these outfits. So let's just go into business in the fashion space. Tepo was not doing jeans at the time. I don't know remember what I was doing, but I said to myself, a lot of people are doing couture.
Yes. High end.
They're doing this high end stuff. And I wanted to still go into fashion, but I wanted to focus on a piece of item that nobody's focused on. So I was like, hey man, let me do socks. But also it was easy to start. It's an easy business to start. If you think the t-shirt business is easy to start, socks is way easier to start.
Really?
Yeah, it's 10 times easier to start, and plus the way I started it. So socks were very easy for me. And I was like, over time, I want an outlet as well as a storyteller to tell stories. So I'd use this small canvas to just tell my stories. Okay. So I that's how I chose socks, because there was a gap in the market, but also because at the time I remember what confirmed the reason why I need to go for socks. I read a story about these two guys overseas who are running a sock brand called Happy Socks.
Yes.
It was not big at the time in the country. And I'm like, hey, I can do what these guys are doing here. So I started copying everything that Happy Socks was doing at the time.
Like, not designs.
Their campaigns. I copied their designs as well. Even one of my most selling designs right now is from Happy Socks.
What?
So I started copying their designs. I started copying their brand language. I started copying a lot of things from them, up until I could find my own language over time as I was building my brand. So I realized, there's nobody doing it locally. Let me do it. But also, funny enough, Makosa was still doing it at the time.
Yes. Did Makosa have socks?
Yeah, Makosa had socks. Makosa, his market at the time was a global market.
Yeah.
Makosa is one of the people who helped me start my business.
Finding out about your story, I realized that Makosa had, as much as the meeting was tiny, but it was quite significant because it's the one that sparked the fire.
Yeah.
From a guy who went to what's this shop again, Mr. Price.
Mr. Price, yeah.
But the genius to do that. How did you rebrand the Mr. Price sock?
Listen, David, look at this. I hope you'll have a picture to show people. That's
no, definitely. We'll use this. So these can't be Mr. Price.
Those are Mr. Price socks, right?
No way.
So what I did is, remember I told you, Jorge, I'm a PR student.
We'll put it on screen. Don't worry. We'll put it on screen.
I'm a PR student, right? So David, I'm actually not in the sock business.
No.
Yeah.
The sock became the product.
I'm in the IP business.
Yeah.
You know. So I am selling the story. I'm selling the logo. I'm selling the feeling. You know, it's the sock is the byproduct. You know, we've made most of our money from collaborations like the one you see right now with Standard Bank. When Standard Bank collaborates with you, they pay for the IP, not necessarily the product.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'm fascinated that all these socks in this box are Mr. Price socks.
Those are Mr. Price socks, and that was my biggest stock at the time. I bought it for 1,000 rands. That was my biggest stock. I was balling.
I am fascinated by this. I really am.
I was balling. So my mom gave me 70 bucks. Again, my mom comes into my story.
Yeah.
She's my first investor, whom I'm still paying even today.
I wonder how much shares does she have? Wow, first investor.
Yeah, my mom is the first investor. She invested 70 bucks. I bought 14 pairs of socks at Mr. Price. But also still, like, it was like, this thing might succeed, But also this thing is just here to push me to get the next gig.
True.
And then I'm gonna be big as an entertainer.
To pay rent and
and taxi money, you know. So the story just grew, and then I realized, because before CNN picked up the story, local publications started like writing about me, but they were not necessarily writing about their product. They were writing about
you,
the entrepreneur. And then I started studying global entrepreneurs, from your Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, all of them, you know. And I realized, okay, cool. So I could go into a public platform and trade my story for airtime. You know, so I started formalizing my story then, and I booked a lot of interviews because of how I presented myself, and because I had a compelling story. Or again, that's where drama comes in.
Of course,
every story has an arc. It has a start, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So when I started drafting my story and realizing the power of it, that is when Sbu Socks started like flourishing.
Do you know? Something that we learn about your life is that it's probably not that difficult to start a business.
Yeah, it's not that difficult, and that's the reason why I've been so public with everything.
Yeah.
Nah, David, I don't mind if people.
You don't hide the story.
I don't hide anything.
Yes.
I don't hide the falls, the failing, the success. I don't hide anything.
Yeah.
Because at the back of my mind, with everything I'm doing, I'm imagining 14-year-old Sibusiso in that 3-room shack in Tsakane, who has so many career options, you know, and will probably won't have the money to pursue them. So I'm really trying to give him the jams, you know, to
say,
be like, hey, dog, like, you can basically, if you don't want to do socks, you can sell mugs. Like, we don't have anybody.
Rebrand
who
mugs.
specializes in ceramic and mugs. Like,
cool mugs.
Who's making them cool and a thing, and it's a thing to carry, you know? So I'm really at the heart of it, trying to show people that business is not that hard. But also, because I don't use a lot of business language, I'm trying to speak to the masses. Yeah. So I'm trying to show, because my biggest fear before going into business was listening to one of my mentors as well, Vusi Tembekwayo.
Okay, yeah.
All the business people, business sounded scary. It sounded like this big
inaccessible
thing.
Yeah,
So
for the few.
Yeah, the reason why I'm so casual about business is that I'm trying to show anybody that you can turn anything into a business if you've got an incredible voice. If you're a hot girl, now if I was a hot girl, I'd be the most successful hot girl ever. Just get half naked, find a way to get it out there and make money out of it.
It.
I'm really trying to show people that anything can be turned into a business.
Do you know, and selling socks does answer that question.
It
that
does.
Anything can be turned into a business.
It can be turned into a business, and now it's a global sock brand. So
imagine that.
Yeah.
It's competing with people whom you were copying when you started.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. And actually, I'm only about to make money from socks. I've never made money from socks.
Yeah.
As I told you, it's been speaking and IP. I'm only gonna make money in the next sock revolution in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
That's when I'm gonna make a lot of money.
And why do you anticipate the revolution? What have you been studying?
Because fashion is recycled.
True.
You know, so the last sock revolution we had was between the time I started in 2012, 2013 up until 2015, 2016, and it went quiet right now. There's no crazy.
So we due for another one.
So we due for another one, whether we like it or not. It's coming, and the loudest brand or the brand that most people are familiar with is Sbu Socks. So that's the brand that's gonna cash in on the next sock revolution.
Where is your brand found now?
My brand is found online.
Yeah.
At Sbu Store.
Okay.
Not socks. Store.com. I'm about to launch Sbu Socks again. We're about to relaunch it with the help of Standard Bank on their Simply Blue platform next month. I'm launching a major project. It's the biggest project I've ever done over the past decade. We're turning 10 next year as a brand. It's my way of saying bye. I might be saying goodbye to Sbu Socks forever.
But you're basically saying you're living with a bang.
Yeah, I'm living with a bang with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been an interesting revolution of young black entrepreneurs in the past 5-6 years. Your sneaker brands have done really well.
Yeah.
And there's been maybe I'm wrong. Is there a newfound energy about black small businesses that have big dreams, or am I wrong in making that observation?
There is definitely, black people in South Africa are the majority, and black people right now are starting to get into positions of power, so there's something very sexy about seeing a good quality product that has a name that you can pronounce, a name that you can explain. It's not Italian, it's not English. Kipatu.
We thought Fabian was Italian.
Yeah, but there's something cool about knowing the founder and knowing that they're still alive in real time, because the other brands are legacy brands. The founder is gone. They're now telling an old story. But with the revolution right now, with Tap, with Drip, with Batu, with Sbu Socks, the founder, his age, you follow him on Instagram, you know his parents, you know his lifestyle, you saw him last week at the mall. Like, it's just, it's just that crazy right now. People want to spend on people they know, but also I think there's a certain level of consciousness with black people. They realize that the struggle now is no longer on the streets. The only way we do it is with our money. We're not gonna buy this sock. We're gonna buy this one.
Are you saying there's a conscious decision? Because we still see a lot of, as I like politicians call it, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah,
we still see a lot of Louis Vuittons and on so forth. Are you saying there is a group of South African black South Africans that I'm saying we're going to support this black brand?
We have a lot of early adopters. Remember, the audience that myself and my peers have, we're still early adopters.
Yeah.
Like, if you think Drip and Batu are big, you haven't seen anything. You haven't seen anything. Wait till you see them in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
The guys are still gonna grow. People haven't caught up to Batu and Drip yet.
Let me tell you, with the billboards, the Drip.
Yeah.
If people don't catch up,
people are
they'll be stubborn.
People remember all of our lives before Batu and Drip, we've been wearing Nike.
Yes,
and
I know.
Other brands. So we are about to replace those brands. You understand? So we haven't really started. The revolution is only starting right now. We only have a small group of early adopters, but the next 5 to 10 years is gonna be interesting, and the competition is gonna be tighter. But if the competition is tight, it means that you get better quality, you get better products.
That's true.
And we're still gonna have some more entrants who are going to show us how to do this thing.
I want to go back to the time when you are now selling these things in a plane. I like that picture.
Yeah.
Whoever had the genius to take it.
It's Bongane, my first publicist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Documenting history.
History.
Yeah. And now you are still selling, what's that, Mr. Price's socks.
Yeah.
The transition to say it's time to do my own.
Yeah.
What happened there? What was that transition in your mind?
In my mind, I don't think there was a transition in my mind. There was a transition financially.
Okay.
Because remember, for you to go produce products, you need to meet certain number of minimum order quantities. So for that year, for the whole of 2013, I didn't have enough money to go to a factory and be like, hey, I want to order socks.
Yes, 1,000.
Yeah, I want to order 1,000. So the biggest cash I had at the time was 1,000 rands. And the profit you make from then is like 4K. So
and
because you have to do already you owe other people 1,000. So I've always spoken big, Mina, about Sbu Socks from day one.
Even when you had 1,000.
All from that moment, I've, like David, from when I was a kid, I've always known that I'm gonna be a man of influence.
Yeah.
I've always known if whatever I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna be a cleaner, I'm gonna be the world's biggest, famous, and well-paid cleaner.
I like that.
Yeah,
our teacher used to say that at high school, or be the best at every job. It doesn't matter how lousy the job seems to others.
Yep, make it cool.
Yeah.
Make everybody want to be a cleaner. So I've always known that. So even with Sbu Socks, I've always spoken about it and positioned it as a global brand that is colorless, that accommodates everybody, and that would fit in any space and place in the world. So the transition had always been there, which is why I was able to somehow attract CNN
Yes.
to feature us on that platform.
Because the globalness of your perspective existed, CNN merely just made it valid.
CNN just made it valid. We've already. You should see the press releases I used to write myself about the brand. They were speaking in a global language already.
Jeez.
So already when we were featured on CNN, that's when we now had an investor.
Yeah.
Now could be able to visit factories and start sourcing products that we make from scratch.
I want to talk about the investment.
Mm-hmm.
The day of CNN.
Yeah.
One, how did CNN come about? Dude, I've been looking for CNN for the past 10 years. They haven't come.
Yeah.
How the hell did you get CNN?
You should hang around with me.
I said, I'll get CNN.
Hang around with me. So CNN came through. So CNN came through one of my mentors, Sbu Socks, founder of the Hookup Dinner.
Yeah, okay. I remember the Hookup Dinner.
You remember the Hookup Dinner, right? So I was one of the first youngest people to present at the Hookup Dinner.
Okay.
So CNN was there to cover the Hookup Dinner.
What was the goal of the Hookup Dinner? Or to get an investor?
So the Hookup Dinner, you pitch your business for 2 minutes and you have angel investors there, but also you have decision makers in corporate SA who might link you with a deal or something.
Or advice. Sometimes advice is good enough.
Advice is good enough. Trust me. We all need advice. Even though I said I don't need it, but we all need advice. So that's how CNN picked up my story, because they were there to cover the Hookup Dinner and they saw this guy pitching his business. His very small business, but pitching it in a very big way. And they thought my story is very compelling for their platform, and I got featured there. Let me tell you something. When we were shooting CNN, I knew this was big.
Yes,
It's like when we were shooting it, it's like we know the magnitude of CNN and stuff, but the moment when I was shooting it,
it's a big moment.
Felt like a big moment. I felt like I was meeting my destiny right there and then.
Wow.
And I think it went for post-production for something like 2 months. So it was quiet for that.
For a bit, yeah.
But there were funny things happening in that 2 months. There was a lot of growth and change. And I was just being elevated, like spiritually, but also even in my psyche in that 2 months to meet the moment. And when it happened, it was so funny. We're at Taboo with Tepo, drinking free alcohol.
Probably at some party.
We were so drunk. We're Taboo. We're so drunk. My friend, SK, Nigerian friend, calls me. It's like, Sbu, you know you're gonna be big. I'm like, SK, who doesn't know I'm gonna be big? He's like, no, you're gonna be big. You're on CNN right now. I'm
so he saw it.
He saw it all the way from Nigeria. He saw it, and my phone switches off. We had a house here in Melville with our other friends and stuff. Got there, charged my phone around 4 a.m. When I switch it on, I got a text on WhatsApp. This my first investor after my mom is Nick.
Okay.
Nick. It's like, Sbu, I am going to New York later in the day. I want to see you at 8 a.m.
Nick is in South Africa
at the time. And we met in Maboneng at 8 a.m. Asked me how much you want. I threw a figure. It's like, okay, cool, let's do it. And that's how we started working. And
what was his expectation besides just profit?
I don't think Nick. That's funny enough. I don't think Nick had any expectations. He saw this kid. I was David. I was a kid.
Yes, you were 20.
I was 21.
21.
About to turn 20. I was a kid.
This young, excited kid.
Yeah, and you could see it. Like, he could see Nick had no expectations, and it's one of those godly moments because it just trusted me with a huge sum of money.
You know why I asked that question? That simply, that all businesses are based on one simple principle. I'm not going to take my money out and give it to you for no real reason, unless if I'm just compassionate, I see fire in you and I want to grow with you.
And
you're saying more than anything, he probably just gave you money to go see what you do with it.
Yeah, it just gave me money to go see what to do with it. But also, he wanted his returns. Of course,
Yes,
at the
did
end
he
of the day.
make his returns?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Actually, Sbu Socks accelerated, because within the 3 months of working with Nick, we got our first corporate client, which is Standard Bank. They bought socks for all their staff members. So I was able to pay Nick back with interest.
Imagine that.
We had business partners at the time as well. We paid back everybody. So I bought my business back and I could run it alone.
So now it's yours. Yeah.
I sold it again.
Oh,
after that, I think after 2 years. But again, we established businesses to sell them.
Of course, yeah.
So I sold it and I bought it back again. And now the plan from, I think, year 6 till year 10, which is next year, is to grow it so that I can sell it to an American company. So the reason why I'm making moves to the US a lot right now is so that I can establish myself that side and sell to an American investor, because I think Americans investors understand the type of entrepreneur I am, and my type of crazy and my vision. So I would really be comfortable to sell to guys like the Caring Group. The Caring Group, they own majority shareholders for Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein. So I still would like to remain as creative director while they handle the business.
So they handle the scaling. You do the product.
While I do the product and the fund side of things, But again, my 10th year was my cutoff year at Sbu Socks, which is next year. Now I'm feeling a very strong feeling of just leaving it forever. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but not tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. I'm probably, this is my last 19 months at Sbu Socks.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So you have to make it work.
I'm making it work.
That's what I mean. Like it has to be where you want it to be.
Yeah, it has to be where I want it to be. But whether it's there or not, I'm living in my 10th year.
I like that.
Yeah, the calling. Remember, we're talking about the calling, the calling that I had at university to leave. You know? Even right now, I gave myself 10 years in Joburg.
Okay.
To fulfill my whatever it is I need to fulfill in Joburg. Unfortunately, I stayed an extra 2 years. This is my 12th year. But I'm really right now, I've fallen in love with New York. I am now back at being a small fish in a big pond. The reason why I said to you before we started recording that I'm feeling 19 again.
You have like energy.
When I was 19. So right now I'm uncertain about everything, David. Like everything is new.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, everything is new. Everything is fresh. Like I'm back to being a 19-year-old in Joburg, but in New York. So I'm doing a regular trips there. Because even the next project that I'm launching, I'm gonna be launching it in Manhattan. So
it's funny that you talk about New York like that. I went through a time in my life when I needed New York to inspire size, scale, because you and I have grown up pretty similar. Well, I was lucky; it wasn't a corrugated iron house. It was bricks, but pretty similar. Similar challenges. So your universe is so small that you don't know what happens outside these four walls. That is so big. And traveling to New York helped me to understand size.
Yep.
South Africa, you may think it's cork in your hood. Yeah, you're nothing in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And when you listening to you, believe it or not, it's quite inspiring because I stopped caring about size. I started becoming okay with the small.
Yeah.
And I remember I was having a chat with McGee about this, and it's the saddest thing. Every time we speak, he always reminds me that I said that.
Yeah.
That I reduced the things in my life, and that may have been a bad thing.
Do you think so?
I know for sure that it is. I reduced the size of things. Because once you achieve, you tick the boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've ticked a lot of boxes in your life. I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to have that house, that car, and so forth. And then I want to have two of them, and then two of them. And you realize you've ticked too many boxes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh hell, where do I start now? And that becomes a new problem now.
Yeah.
And particularly if you tick those boxes early on in your life. And interesting, I then decided to go to study MBA for no real reason. I reduced sizes so much. dude, I live in such a small place now and I have
Yeah.
no reason why.
Wow.
It's 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
Everything is 4-5 steps away.
Yeah. But Linda, I live in a very
And
small
I'm happy
space.
with that.
Yeah, I live a very simple life. Like
Yeah.
these clothes are from last year, probably 2 years ago. Like I live a very small life
Yeah.
because all of my money is
going elsewhere.
Is funding
Yeah.
my dream, you know. I don't go out that much. I'm not a spender and stuff, but I'm just so aware that my dream makes me happy.
Yes.
So I might as well like finance it
And
you know,
chase
to-
it.
and chase it to
Yeah.
the max. And since I don't have like anything, you know, I'm not married, I don't have a kid. I might as well take everything that I earn and give it to the dream and see where it lands me.
What challenges have you had besides blowing all the cash? What challenges have you had? And this is the educational part of
Okay.
such conversations where you're saying, I did this, I shouldn't have. What challenges did you have personally as a young business person, and challenges of business in general that you are likely to see even when you're older? What were your experiences, and what continues to be your experiences?
I think my biggest challenge is really the biggest one was dealing with money, you know.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the young me and just, it's funny how I grew up taking care of money when I had all those small businesses. But when I started having an influx of money, I stopped caring about money and I started using it anyhow.
Yeah.
You know, not realizing that money is also part of my power.
That's true.
You know, so I think money, that's the one, that's my daily constant struggle that I'm working on a daily.
But at least you're aware of it.
Yeah. Another one is operating in a public domain as well. I've been operating the public domain for almost a decade right now. I wanna care less about what people say. Unfortunately, it's hard to switch it off because at the end of the day, I'm working to service the public.
That's
you
true.
know, with my story or my product or whatever extension of me. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the people. So how do I do things for the people without caring about the people?
That's
so
true.
I'm really trying to separate my personal life from it's a ball, you know, that I'm struggling
It's not
with.
easy.
It's not easy. I'm struggling with making real life connections and relationships. You know, I'm so closed in, especially after I got burned like 3 or 4 years ago. You know, I don't go out, I don't do anything. It's just work, or just stay at home, work, stay at home, you know.
Even you said this past weekend you're with family.
You know, I live such a small, boring life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to allow that past experience to block me from experiencing new people and new environments and new things, you know.
Yeah.
I am struggling with, I have an incredible relationship with God one day, and the next day I don't know where we're sitting. You know, I don't know what we're doing.
Can I educate you about God? He always knows where he's sitting with you. You are the problem.
Oh, I'm the problem.
He's consistent as hell. Or she is consistent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a real case of it's not you, it's me.
100%.
Okay, cool.
Here's a Proverbs quote that says, "Trust the Lord with all your heart."
Yeah.
Because He's consistent.
Oh.
He will deliver beyond measure, consistently.
Oh.
The problem is us, and I
Yeah.
say this because I'm learning the same thing.
Yeah.
Of hey, Namtaji.
Yeah.
You don't like me very much.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with it. It's me. So no, Ukraine.
Okay, so the problem is me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But generally my whole life, David, to be honest, I'm at my happiest.
Yeah.
Right now. I was
Really?
scared of turning 30. Me at 30 is 100. You know, 30 has always been the ultimate age and stuff. It's always been at the back of my mind that 30 I should have done this and stuff.
So you had your own pressure.
I had my own pressure.
Yeah.
You know? Then finally, when I entered 30, I realized, it's just another age. And then I started regressing in terms of the mental prison that I had created. Because remember, I had skinny Sbu to live up to.
Yeah.
But when I entered 30, I just let go. And right now, I'm doing me 100%. I don't think I have any particular struggles. Any struggles I have right now or challenges, it's challenges that I am supposed to be there. They're part of the business. They're part of my life. They're part of the journey.
It's part of the story you're telling.
It's part of the story I'm telling anyway, you know. But generally, when I compare now and 3 years ago, I think I'm the most happiest right now. Wow. I'm so free right now. I'm so free to a point which like I hop in a taxi, dog, you know.
And you're good.
I don't feel anything because when I lost everything, I felt like everybody's judging me and the whole world is judging me, you know. People would ask for a selfie in a taxi and I was so guarded. I don't know if this person really admires me or taking a picture to show people.
To laugh at you.
To laugh at me, you know. So I'm so comfortable and happy right now that I remember Trevor Noah saying he hops on a very cheap flight. He was talking to, I don't remember that interview, but like he's let go of whatever like being in public comes with, you know. And I study him a lot. I study his life, and I realize how happy he is because he doesn't subscribe to celebrity.
No,
you know, it's not part of it.
If he's invited, he'll go.
You know, to him it's work. It's not him. And the moment I started making that mental switch, like Skinny Sbu is a persona that I go visit, that I switch on right now when I'm on a public
and then you
platform.
switch off when you
but
go home.
I must get and switch off the cameras. It's just me.
Yes.
I'm back to me, you know.
Where do you draw his current happiness though as well? Like there has to be a place.
There's a lot of places. I really enjoy. I have a very particular spot in the northern suburbs of Joburg that I like walking. I do a lot of breakfast runs, so I walk or jog there and then go grab breakfast. It's a very small breakfast nook. It's hidden somewhere. I won't tell people.
You don't want us to come.
Nah, it's my own discovery. So that's part of my joy. There's another park as well that I enjoy going to. My girlfriend of 7 years, Mbuso.
She's been with you through
everything. You know, she's shown me love, and I'm so in love right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of my head. Like, wow,
we'll be hearing marriage soon. Watch them. I know these types. I've seen them.
Yeah, I am planning that. She's part of my family. I'm part of her family as well. Her mom and dad has taken care of me. My parents have taken care of her. Like, we just a bunch of family, you know. I find a lot of happiness in solitude as well, you know, because I've dated myself before. I now enjoy like time with myself. Like, enjoy watching. I watch a lot of crap TV as well.
And you're fine with it.
I'm fine with it. Yes. You know. But also I'm fine with just being alone in my quiet space.
Yeah.
I nap during the day for like 15
I wish I could nap in the evening.
Like do power nap, dog, like 15 minutes, vuga in, you know. And my life also right now is set up in a way I've been praying to be where I am right now, to work whenever and to stop whenever.
Yeah.
So I work when I have energy, but I don't skip my 8 hours sleep. So if right now I go home and sleep for 8 hours, if I wake up at 2 a.m., my day starts.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, so I find joy in a lot of things. And I force myself to do that because I've went from obscurity to having a lot to nothing, and now I'm starting to go back to my former days of glory. So I've learned how to appreciate having money to buy your favorite meal, you know, whatever meal it is, like
to buy your favorite sneakers.
Yeah, your favorite sneakers. Well, I'm not a huge person.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying,
clothes, you know. But when it comes to like experiences, you know, I really find joy in different things. And I'm finding joy right now sitting here with you.
Having a chat.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Interesting. We had young people here in the studio last Friday. We were talking about media consumption.
Okay.
And we all agreed after that session, it lasted about an hour and a half, about 8 of them. We all agreed after that this was fun.
Yeah.
We were just chatting about the different media consumption and what they do, social media in the world of digital migration, because we noticed that a lot of advertising spend is moving away from what is traditional media to digital.
New age media, yeah.
Exactly. And the debate then was, is that market even big enough to justify this transition?
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere in the world, but is it really that big in South Africa?
No, in South Africa, it's not.
You see, that's the discussion we're having, that we're seeing all these big budgets that are moving from radio, television, billboards. That's why I'm so proud of what Drip is doing, because they're showing us that billboards are still a force, and it's moving. And that was the discussion. We were done an hour and a half, and we thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that I don't think we talk enough as people.
We don't talk enough. I don't know. There's been like a new thing right now where we keep to ourselves and we do our own thing and stuff, but we just need to go back to things that made us happy that have nothing to do with money. You understand? Let's just hang around and chill and chat and stuff. Unfortunately, but also because we're a very ambitious generation, we will end up keeping to ourselves.
That's true, because that session. And now this just clicked. There was not a single cell phone rang.
Yep.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
We're in a studio that is it has 4 walls.
Yeah.
And there's no cell phone, network in there.
Yeah.
And it just crossed my mind that not a single person answered a call or read a text in that hour and a half.
What? As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of. Well, I've let go of my the number I have right now. There's only 5 people.
Oh yes, it rang, and you said no, it's only 5 people.
Yeah, that was my girlfriend.
Yeah,
but there's only 5 people who can get hold of me. Right now I'm trying to reduce social media. But I remember Beyonce on the Oprah Winfrey show saying she doesn't have a cell phone. It's only landline because her life, it's management and family. So if she's not at home, everybody knows she's rehearsing or something. So I'm really trying to steer my life to that. Cell phones are really keeping us busy and they're driving us crazy. So I'm really working towards the kind of money that's going to allow me to just, if you find me, you find me.
If you don't,
yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
You didn't have to find me.
Nah, you don't have to find me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
I want to live life. I want to do life, man.
Yeah.
I want to do life.
What is the big life dream for you? If you had all the money you want tomorrow morning, and now you're studying, you're waking up to this. It's like, hey, all right. It's not a dream.
Yeah.
That money's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What life do you see beyond that day?
Okay, I over the past 5 years, I've really fallen in love with late night TV.
Okay,
so that's I'm really trying to work towards that. I've done some investments as well, to shoot my own pilots as well. So I really see myself doing what Colbert is doing.
Okay.
Or Trevor.
There's many of them. They're cool.
And they're very cool. I like how Americans do late night TV. So
I'm still a David Letterman guy though.
I like David Letterman as well, But whoever is left right now doing it, I love how vast it is and it caters to different markets. I love
and it all works.
I love being in a suit. I love distilling today's news. So that's the next big dream.
So that if all the money says like, you'll do it for fun, it seems.
I'd do it for fun. But also airtime is big business. So
of course.
So I don't think I'll ever stop.
There's still the actor in you.
Yeah.
The guy that wanted to be a TV star in you, clearly.
Hands I think I'm one of the most interviewed entrepreneur in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it allows me once a week or a couple of times in a month to feed the artist in me.
Yeah.
You know, because unfortunately, I can't go on TV because what I'm doing and where I'm operating, it's a full-time job. You know,
You can't freelance.
I can't
only
do-
buy.
yeah. If I really want to do this, like even this morning, my agent sent me a script for something that's coming on an SABC One. I'm like, should I do it or not? And then I'm calculating the amount of time I need to put working on that script. And I sent him an email. I'm like, I can't do it. You know. So unfortunately, part of the reasons why I want to let go of Sbu Socks in the next 19 months is because I want to go feed the artist
Inside of you.
inside of me. I've done it through design because a huge part of my job is creative direction for Sbu Socks, you know. But unfortunately, I am not 100% happy. I still want to be in the world of TV and media.
That's interesting how it still matters so many years later.
It is. Because
And it'll always
the
matter.
kid in you never dies, man. You know, it's
Yeah.
just the body ages.
I asked my mom if she still thinks about, she's 78 this year.
Yeah.
Still thinks about the things that she was passionate about when she was young. He said, absolutely.
Yep.
It never leaves you.
It never leaves you. It never leaves you. And I don't want to be bitter.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge part of it. So let me go try it first. I'd rather and be like, okay, cool. You know what? I really tried taking over the world of television. It's not working out. Go back to whatever was working for you. Because over the years, I've been like David trying to, okay, this year's the last year. I'm not good doing Sbu Socks. I'm going to this. And then I get a major deal that wants me to focus. And then I'll go back to it, you know?
Let's talk about how television has changed over the years. And maybe you will move with it.
Yeah.
The television that you fell in love with technically doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
In South Africa, it still has a huge market. Your SABC 1, 2, and 3, ETV, free-to-air television, it still commands an amazing market in South Africa. But I say to you, you can create your own. I'm sure you know this. You can create one of the most successful platforms. McG was fired, didn't have a gig, started very small. Now it's the biggest urban podcast in the world. I say just switch on cameras, my man. Just switch on cameras.
Listen, I don't have the stamina to build from scratch.
Yeah.
Because of what Sbu Socks has done to me. Like I'm exhausted.
You've seen building from scratch.
Nkatele, dog. Nkatele. You know?
Yeah.
So I would rather, you see what Trevor did with the Daily Show. He got into an establishment that was there already and worked to make it his own, but
and he's achieved
it. Had an audience and it was big, and there was big money behind it. You know, so I'd want to move like that. I've been struggling the past 3 years to sell 2 of my products that I've produced for TV. You know,
it's not easy.
It's not easy, but I'm talking to my partners. You know, I'm talking to Standard Bank. I have a number of corporate clients that I'm talking to finance for South Africa to take it to TV.
Yeah, or TV even.
TV,
yeah.
you know, because South Africa is still big on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Still big.
And it'll stay this way for a while.
For a very long time, you know.
But with all the exhaustion that you speak of, you're still passionate about building instead of endorsing.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge difference to Sbu who's supporting something, or Sbu who's starting something. So what is your perspective now, particularly with this new energy of young South Africans that are saying, I want Batu, I want my own, I want my own. Because once we start, we're going to stay like this for a while. I can already tell.
Yeah.
So what do you say to someone who has an opportunity to endorse or build?
Yeah. Nah, man, if endorsements have a lot of money, you know, because remember, I'm functioning as 2 people. So Sbu Socks is a business person who's building his own thing, who's never profited a cent, you know, from this thing that is building. Skinny Sbu has fed Skinny Sbu for almost 10 years through endorsements.
True.
You know, I've worked with
Skinny Sbu has made money.
A lot of money. I've worked with all major 4 banks. You know, actually the current deal I have with Standard Bank right now, it's an influencer deal.
Whoa.
You know,
it's a skinny Sbu.
It's a skinny Sbu influencer deal. So if you have an opportunity, man, to endorse, go endorse, take that money and reinvest in your dream. You know, up until your dream can start making you money.
Yeah. Bad decisions about money.
Bad decisions about money.
Yeah.
That I've made.
Yes.
I partied a lot. So I made a lot of terrible money decisions when it comes to just going out.
How expensive is going out?
Expensive. I was out, David, like religiously.
All the time.
All the time. I had the energy, and I don't know how. Because right now I can't. If I go out, I need to budget a day tomorrow. I'm not doing
to recover.
You know. Yeah, you know. But also, I don't know. Other things was just life things. Traveling as well.
Yeah.
You know.
You saw the world though.
Yeah, I'm a compulsive spender. You know, I just spend.
If there's money in your pocket, chances are there.
I see spend. You know. But yeah.
That hasn't changed much.
That doesn't change much. It is changing. It is changing.
No, yeah. Yes,
no, you know.
Yes.
But I think also I was very compulsive when it comes to business decisions. That's the one thing that charred a lot of my money, you know. Tapelo Mukwena was speaking about, I don't know what he calls these passions that just come. You know, one day you have a passion to start this thing and then you put a lot of money behind it and then you think it's going to succeed, you know. But I spent a lot of my money.
Oh, you did that.
I did a lot of that. So right now I'm so focused and I'm doing just one thing, you know, and it works. And then I take the profits from there and I invest it in the next, you know. So I was very compulsive when it comes to just spending on the next idea and the next idea and the next idea.
Do you regret those decisions or you found education?
I'm happy I made those decisions before I made a lot of money, you know, because I haven't made that much money. I made a lot of money for a 20-year-old. So I'm happy I made those decisions in my 20s.
Yeah.
So right now, as I go into my 30s, I'll make better financial decisions.
There's a part in your story that speaks of when you had the first big buck, 100,000 rands, I think, and your mom, you presented this cash to the family, and your mom said, "It's yours, enjoy it.
Go enjoy your money." My mom relieved me from what we call black tax.
Yeah,
and I don't regard it as black tax. You know? I feel like if people supported you all your life, you have a personal responsibility when you are okay to support them back.
That's true.
That's it. It's that way, you know. But now my mom was like, "Hey, dog, remember." I didn't buy you those sneakers that you wanted. I had a hand-me-down cell phone and stuff. Go take care of yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to accelerate very fast in my life because I used to take my money and just spend on me and my dreams and whatever I used to do, you know. So yeah, but now as I grow older, I'm now, my money is her money.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, on a personal capacity, I don't know what to do with money. Like I don't have anything to spend. I don't have things. I don't have needs. You know, as long as now I have food in the fridge, like whatever food I want, I'm good. Dog.
And your
like,
crap TV's available.
Yeah, you know.
You said you watch. Let me understand. What is crap TV in your world? Real Housewives of
anything.
AZN.
I watch. Right now, I'm watching. I don't know how. Ling Empire.
What?
Yeah,
I could never watch
these rich Asians in Hollywood. Oh my God.
Is it a Netflix show?
It's a Netflix show. As a matter of fact, as I was eating breakfast this morning, I woke up at 5. I made breakfast. I watched one episode. I afforded to fit in one episode. So, but also there's an intention behind it. I'm working on reality TV as well.
Yes.
You know, so
it's educational.
I'm trying to pick up things that work as well because I'm cognizant of the fact that in as much as David, I don't want to waste my time and stuff. There are people who go out to a rough world out there and would want to come back home and go and escape. You know? So I want to produce a type of work that people can consume and really enjoy watching, in as much as it's educational or it's about business or whatever it is. But people should just look forward to it. You know, I remember times in growing up where I'd look forward to SABC One was hot, man. 6:30 and 6:30 was just, it had hot content.
Yes.
You know, so I really want to produce like content that people, after a very long, stressful day, that people can look forward to.
Interesting. I do the type of radio show that aims to do that and nothing else.
Yeah.
I realized that life is hard.
Life is hard, man.
Yeah, you know, everything is troublesome in our society, from electricity that switches off, and
Yeah.
I go there with one goal,
Yeah.
to make sure that the 3 hours is fun.
It's just fun.
It may not necessarily be fun for me,
Yeah, when it's hard work for you,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
but I know that
For the-
it's fun.
I was
for
actually listening to your show. You have a lot of female listeners, eh?
interesting. You know something?
Yeah.
They don't show in our numbers.
Really?
No, it's
Wow.
the most frustrating thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Our numbers show a lot of guys, but I know for sure, I have female
Yep,
listeners and
yep.
lots and lots
You
of
have a lot of female listeners. I'm like, yo, this guy. I'm a cherry where I'm gone.
I get that comment so much from guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Mashabel. Hey, when you start telling what she-
Yeah, you know, like and I think we need to take it back there. That's why people like Bosomiz is successful, because Somiz is just an entertainer. It's just
That's it.
entertaining. That's
Yes.
it. Nothing major.
No.
Yeah.
It
Nothing
looks like
major.
there's not a lot of thought that goes into it when he does it, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes.
There's a lot of
Yes.
work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes.
For me, you're such a fascinating guy because the world has shown you the worst in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
which had greatness
Yeah.
raised by great people.
Yeah.
And then it showed you the beginning and the best of it.
Mm.
And then it said, Dwan, let's show you that there's another side to the best
Yep.
of your life.
Yep.
And then you come out of it, I think, a far better person.
I'm way better. I'm smarter.
Yes.
I'm smarter, David.
Ooh.
Don't get it twisted.
Yes. You've learned a lot.
I learned a lot. Like, there's nothing that's gonna put you under pressure than learning in public. Yeah, you have to learn fast, because all the time I've fallen, I don't know how many times, and I had to make a quick comeback, because if I keep quiet for like 6 months, people are gonna forget and they move on to something else. And remember, I make my money from relevance, you know. So I had to, every lesson I learned real quick and come back real quick.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you're highlighting that everything was just a taste. That's how I feel, and that's how I look at my life. Everything, David, I experienced over the past decade in particular was just a taste of what life could become. And the reason I'm so optimistic is because I know that God has given me if that was my taste, imagine my future.
That was a starter.
That was a starter.
Imagine the main course.
Imagine the main course. So that's the reason why I'm up every day, because I'm like, yo, I can't wait now to experience Skinny Sbu in the next 2 months, or once I kickstart the project that I'm launching next month. You know, like I can't wait.
We can't wait. Flip, why didn't you come next month? Because I want to know about it now. And it sounds like it's still...
You will know about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be everywhere. It's part of my US tour.
Okay.
So, on the 18th of March, Standard Bank helped me to launch my USA media tour.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go for a couple of late night shows, morning shows,
Yeah.
and daytime shows in the US.
That's pretty awesome.
But I'll be launching that. I'll be going on that tour to launch the project that I'm launching.
Yes. Take cameras
No,
around you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. I've been working on this for the past 3 years. I was scared to launch it because it's too big for me.
Yeah.
You know. But right now, after everything that has happened, this time feels like the right time for me to launch it, especially because I'm trying now to exit Sbu Socks. So I might as well do it.
If you don't do it now, you may never get this chance again.
If now, when?
That's it.
If now, when? If not me, who?
Yeah.
So this is the time I do it, and I'm excited, and I know that everything is gonna fall into place once I launch this thing, because I've been so scared. The money is not enough and stuff. But this time around, I was like, I'm doing it.
You speak of Standard Bank like it's a brother who really cares for you. How's that relationship been?
It's amazing because it's not just the logo. For me, Standard Bank is not just the logo.
The logo on
branches and stuff. Like, it's real people at Standard Bank, like Cleo, I can't mention it, but like, it's real people at Standard Bank who really, particularly, Standard Bank is special to me because they're my first corporate client. Well, I've worked with other major 4 banks over the past decade. And thank you to them and those people who recommended me. But it's funny how after I had the biggest fall, after that 5 million rand interview, everybody hated me. Nobody wanted to touch me. No brand wanted to work with me. Even people didn't want to take a picture of me. Like, I went through a period where it was uncool to be skinny Sbu.
Whoa.
It was terrible.
I can't imagine that.
It wasn't
terrible. A big deal.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was major in my world.
Jeez.
It was major because people saw this arrogant, entitled person. And remember, I was running this for 5 years. I was a media darling. I said,
and then there was that moment.
One live interview, I said, I don't want advice. I want 5 million. It was like, lawyer Hlanya.
I remember that interview.
Yeah.
And I what inspired it in your thinking? Because do you go back to that interview and think that was wrong?
No.
Be like that to say what you said?
No, I still don't want advice from anybody.
Yes, you want.
I told you how many. I've mentioned all my mentors, right? And that's not even all my mentors.
There's lots.
I have a lot of mentors. The late Wandi, from Lokshin Culture. The late Bob Mapena.
Oh.
I've got mentors for everything. If I want marriage advice, I go to my uncle. And people don't understand that because I'm operating in the public domain, I get a lot of suggestions from people on a daily, randomly.
Yeah.
They're like, Sbuda, why I think about socks more than you, more than anybody in the country.
Yes, you think about socks
more than anybody. That's my business.
That's true.
So for people to come on a public domain platform and think they can tell me what to do with my business, I still don't think so. If I want advice even today, pick up my call. I've got a name that everybody wants to answer to.
Yeah.
I just pick up my phone and ask I need to hear this. So I still think I don't want people to be just coming to my face and telling me what to do or what not to do.
So that moment of I don't want advice, I want money.
I'm happy it happened because remember I was as a media sweetheart, I was a kid and people treated me like a kid because I was a kid. But there was a transition for me from a boy to being a man.
Okay.
And right now when I enter any room, people know that we are here to talk money.
No, yeah.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
No, yeah. I'm sharing advice.
Yeah, and because of how friendly my persona is, people think they can just come, don't waste my time, dog. Like, if you're meeting 30 minutes, let's talk, let's get to the point and let's go home.
How did you, from a PR point of view, because you say nobody even wanted to take a picture with you.
Yeah.
How did the transition happen now to them saying, yeah, he's okay? Or people just, as it happens, slowly forgot?
Because I had, after that, I tried a lot of PR tactics.
Okay.
To
you were aware. I was aware.
I needed to fix that. But a change started when I started becoming myself. If you look at my social media, it's not clean.
Okay.
It's not straightforward.
Yeah, it's not the typical.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sell.
I'm
anything.
staging this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sell. So that moment allowed me to be me.
Yeah.
So I then started posting about my family. I started posting about my random thoughts. I started doing a lot of things, and I started rejecting interviews I didn't want to do.
Wow.
I started rejecting a lot of things and saying yes to a lot of things that if I get into that space, it's going to allow me to be me versus me going to that space and trying to talk about business or whatever just happened, So the more I became me, is the more people gravitated towards me.
The person.
Yeah, the person,
yes.
And yeah, bit by bit, it started working. But there's a lot of people, even during that dark time, who trusted me.
They didn't.
Their money.
Oh, they didn't say, hey.
Nah. There's people who get it, And people,
I'll admit, I completely understand.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there's people who just don't get it, but I also understand why they don't get it.
Yeah,
you only watched a couple of seconds of a 7-minute clip. I understand why you don't get it.
And you got the sound bite.
Yeah, and you went with what was happening at the time. Everybody was
who's this
saying,
entitled guy?
Yeah, but it launched me as well. A lot of people, that's the one thing they remember about me. I'm happy about it. I'm in the business of being known, and the more you know about me, that's how I make my money.
Yeah.
So leading to Standard Bank came when nobody wanted to touch me. And
you're starting to sound like Jacob Zuma when he speaks about the Guptas.
Yeah.
He says they came when nobody wanted to touch him.
They came when nobody wanted to touch me.
Yes.
And they didn't go back to revisit that. They said, what are you doing now? And what is your dream now? Like literally that was my meeting with Standard Bank. They asked me, they didn't say, how can we fit in what you want, what we're doing? What is your dream? What is it that you want to do?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
from a bank? That's a great question.
We'll help you finance what you want to do. And it's been a beautiful 3 to 4 month relationship right now. And we're talking on a regular, and I'm telling them my thoughts and where I want to go and what I'm trying to achieve. So
is there any money on the table yet in terms of what you're doing with them?
Yes, Standard Bank has been financing me for the past 4 months. I'm from Los Angeles right now.
Yeah.
Because of Standard Bank. I'm from
Are they part of the big thing that's coming?
They part of the big thing that's coming as well. They helped me get to the Grammys as well.
Jeez.
They helped me get to the Oscars as well. So,
this is like having a cool older brother.
Definitely. Like basically the whole year belongs to Standard Bank. We're just doing a lot of cool things with them.
There's a moment when I introduced you, I said you're brave. The moment with the president. That was a cool moment.
That was a beautiful moment. My uncle took that video. Funny enough, my phone was on 1%.
The very phone that
took that video. And he told me afterwards, it's like, yo, Sbu, I wanted to tell you the phone was on 1%.
You were going to stress.
I was going to stress. So what happened is, David, now how I do things, and it's anything I do, I want to know what's the future investment.
Yeah.
Right? So I know right now, years from now, people are going to watch this and hear my story the way I told it. So that's the future investment. We went there. The president was, it was the investment conference.
Yes, Standard Bank Convention Center.
Convention Center.
Yeah.
So the future investment is that as an entrepreneur operating in South Africa, I will get to somehow benefit from that. So my future is covered.
True.
But what am I going to get for investing my 8 hours here today? That was the big question for me.
Ooh.
And that is how I was like, okay, cool. I might as well pull...
So you were in the audience?
I was in the audience.
Yeah.
So I might as well pull a PR stunt that is going to benefit me in the immediate. So I'm part of the audience. The president is sitting there in the front. I'm probably sitting at row 50.
Yes.
It was big. It was huge, And I go to the minister there. I go to where actually the president was sitting because he was on stage. I was not aware that I'm not supposed to even
to be that close.
Yeah, they're like, yo, there's security all over. They can bomb you right now. You're not supposed to sit there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And that's the power of being naive. Embrace it.
Yeah.
And then I went back. I chilled there. And as the president was leaving, everybody bomb rushed him. And here's another big God moment. There's a lady who's part of the president's crew who was like, just once.
Recognized you.
Yeah, she spoke to me the way my grand used to speak to me.
Yeah.
My grand doesn't like Bashman Baslow.
Okay.
Yeah. Oroshimani, pick up your legs. This lady just spoke to me first. She's like, we're using that exit pet. That first. If I was slow, I wouldn't pick that up. Like that lady was just quick.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here you won't be able to speak to the president. Everybody's trying to take a picture with the president. So I just went out.
We're all wondering, how the hell did you end up there?
So I went to the exit that they were going to use.
And waited.
And just wait. But I was not sure if they're going to use
course,
that because
yes.
the president changes all the time for safety
yeah.
reasons, So we just waited there for like 15 minutes.
Oh no.
Not knowing if it's coming or not.
By then, Petria Pay.
Mr. President, can I introduce you to South Africa's biggest sock brand? It's called Sbu Socks.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy this pair. I hope you get to give it to your family. It's African inspired and it's made by me, sir. Enjoy
you?
it. Yes, sir. My name is Sbu. I'm skinny and I sell socks.
Skinny.
Yes, I was. Can you please keep this on
They
the
will keep
president?
it.
Yeah. And the minister, please enjoy them.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
You also.
I really appreciate it. Yes, sir.
It was one of those part of my PR that helped me clean up the mess I had just done at the
Yes.
time, because there are people who just know me for that moment only.
Yeah.
We're currently sitting at 1 million views right now.
Oh, that moment.
Yeah, of that one video. I'm like, whoa, is it that powerful? Is it that big? But when I look at it as well, every once in a while when I want courage, I look at that Sbu who just didn't care anything.
Yeah.
And I just did that thing. Yeah.
And moved on,
And just moved on. And yeah.
The present moment, did it leave a lasting impression with you? What we meet the president. I've had the privilege of being in the same 5 meters with him. But for you, it was, here's my brand and this is who I am.
Sock.
Yes,
And he turns around after that.
Yeah, he does.
He handshakes me.
Exactly.
He's like skinny Sbu.
He says your brand.
Yeah, he says my brand. So the thing is, like, it's a big moment because he woke up that morning not knowing my brand and he went to bed.
No, there's this boy that came.
Knowing skinny Sbu, But also, it was also, I'm one person who believes that you are a mix of everybody you shake hands with. Yeah. So I know in me, I've got the Ramaphosa energy.
Yes.
And it confirmed to me that I'm one day going to be president.
I wasn't aware. There's a picture of him wearing them.
Yeah, definitely.
I wasn't aware of
Definitely.
Wow, look at that.
So it's confirming to me that an entrepreneur turned businessman, So with me, it's going to be the same story too.
Yeah.
Funny enough, a lot of people don't like Donald Trump for his politics and whatever. But when you just take away kancane, don't focus on the racism and everything, but look at Donald Trump, the working person, from being a real estate entrepreneur to being a president. I'm just inspired by his journey, and I think my journey is unfolding the same way. I am from the world of socks. I'm going into the world of TV. I'm gonna be a billionaire soon. And I'm going to be president on my last moves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the story. That story can be paved without moments like
those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You need, like, if you want money, you need to be around people who have money and shake hands with them and conversate with them. If you want to be president, you need to hang around with them.
That's it. Yes. And also you have to be brave enough to be deserving of that.
Yeah.
Because imagine, hello.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, but also there's a lot to learn on that. There's tricks, in that video, like how I approached him, like I started speaking as the door was opening to set my intentions clear.
Yeah.
So like presentation, how do you present yourself?
Yes.
I'm scared half the time when I present myself, but you can't be timid when you're meeting Will Smith. You have to speak to Will like you are his peer.
Like you were with him last night.
Like you were with him last night.
At some party.
Yeah, that's what makes that moment big, because he meets a lot of people who are honored to meet him. So be that one person who's just honored to meet him, but man, you might be honored to meet me too. Let there be some banter there. Be you, most importantly. So
there's something though to be said about South Africans and our humility, that sometimes it gets in the way.
Yep.
We tend to be a little too nice. Sure, groot man.
Yeah. Nah, me, I got rid of that. Hence everywhere I'm fond of Africa's number one. I don't care what you think, because I'm number one. And that's the reason why I'm so attracted to New York, because the first moment I got to New York, everything was written the world's number one, the world's number one ketchup, the world's number one water, so I'm like, this is my world.
The biggest.
The best and the biggest, So So for me, I'm like, hey, I need to be in that environment because everybody is questioning my number one-ness. I need to be in a space where everybody's like, you're number one, we're number one, we're all number one.
We all want you to be number one.
Yeah, we all want you to be number one.
Yes. You can have 4 number ones.
Yep, you can have 4 number ones.
I like this. I like the number one.
No, I'm number one.
Yeah.
I'm number one, and I've been number one, Mina David, since I started.
Yeah.
And it's a very important mentality because life will hit you, my man.
Yes,
Impilo izokuswabisa, and the moment you believe the external stories, if I believe the people who said I'm entitled, because the voice got louder. You know,
the entitlement of South Africa.
Yeah, it's one thing for 3 people to say you're entitled, but you start believing it when 5,000 people simultaneously say you're entitled. You're like,
maybe I am.
You know, when people say a lot of crazy things, and those are the moments that also detach me from social media, because I remember Pila called me at the time from Metro, and my phone was off.
Yeah,
and she said, Sbu, do you realize that you're trending number 1 in the country? And Mina,
not in Gauteng.
Yeah, in the country. And I'm not even on my phone. So I realized, this thing is just online. It's not real. It doesn't exist in my real life, you know. So now I'm able to just detach. But the one thing I know, Mina David, for sure, I never look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm number 3.
No.
No?
You're not a maybe.
I'm number 1.
Yeah, all day long.
1. I can't even say peace. My hands stay here. I'm 1.
I like that. I use that phrase a lot lately when I do radio. I say the world's greatest radio station.
Amen.
It's like, damn it.
Amen.
I feel like it's the world's greatest radio station. So it must be.
Yeah.
And to those that are listening, to them, it's the world's greatest radio station. That's why they're
listening. Yes. And people don't realize it takes a lot of effort, David, for someone to find the channel, to switch on. It takes a lot.
Yes.
So,
and to stay,
you know. So we number 1.
What's been your proudest moment so far of the past 10 years?
I've had a lot. Let me start counting them. The fact that I started, you know, I don't think I'm a traditional born entrepreneur. You know, I look at people, I'm like, I can't entrepreneur like that, young. You know,
who do you think of immediately when you say you can entrepreneur like
Wussy, you know?
No, he's
Wussy an entrepreneur. No questions asked.
Yeah, very few of us can entrepreneur.
Yeah, you know, he's just an entrepreneur. You know, so for the mere fact that an artist who only knows about art and storytelling and publicity, I think in colors, I think in shapes.
Yeah.
So for the mere fact that I ventured into the world of commerce, the world of trading, and have built something that's almost a decade old right now.
Still around.
Still relevant. People still want Sbu Socks. Sbu Socks is still 150.
Jeez.
Our price has been the same for almost 10 years.
From beginning, even now.
Even right now. Wow. We're still on demand. Retailers still want to work with us. Brands still want to work and partner with us, you know. Number 2, I achieved, Superbo List was not on my list when I started out, but it was there. Starter Fords. I used to window shop with my mom and gran at Starter Fords. And then fast forward 2015, I'm now side by side Tom Ford, Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, Banana Republic, Skinny Sbu Socks.
Wow.
You know, and then
that is a proud moment.
It was a huge moment.
Yeah.
It was a huge moment. Dumisho Masha was the MC when we were launching. The Muffins, my favorite band, was playing.
Jeez, man.
My friend was there, my girl was there, my family was there, you know. Since day 1, when I started Skinny Sbu Socks, I said I'm gonna put Skinny Sbu Socks at Markham stores. Within 5 years, I did it in 4. You know, people don't understand like national distribution.
It's not easy.
You know what national distribution means, David? It means that I draw a sock today, I produce it tomorrow, and 9 provinces have it.
Within what, a month?
Not even within a month, within a couple of days.
What?
Yeah, that's what Markham. Pela Markham is a 3 billion.
No, of course, yeah.
Like at 350 stores.
Jeez.
So when you drop something, everybody feels it like it's mainstream. It's big. It's massive.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, that was a proud moment. Other proud moments has been the fact that like I've had a full-time job for 9 years, dog. Like anglambi, you know, like I've had a job where yes, I've had
and a job you created,
a job I created, a job I look forward to going to, you know, even though it's stressful and whatever and demanding, it's very demanding, you know, but I've had a job and I'm able to make the job fit into my life and my lifestyle and what I'm trying to achieve in the grand scheme of life. You know? I've had so many proud moments, man, but also I have personal proud moments too.
Yeah.
30 is my personal proud moment. I was so reckless when the money came in with my life that maybe I should have died. The way I handled my personal life, you know, I'm proud I made it here today.
You're still able to, and you have tomorrow.
And I have tomorrow, you know, I'm proud of my relationship. You know, to be this hot and this successful and this popular and still maintain being eyes for one person.
Was it at risk at some point?
Yeah. A lot, especially when I started being exposed to
the life,
to the world of having. But what people don't understand is that a man with money has a big pool.
Of course. Right? Of many things.
But a man with money and fame has an even bigger pool. A man with money and fame and good looks has an even bigger pool.
And he's tall.
A man with money and fame and good looks and a great personality and is well spoken and is funny.
And he's tall. Don't forget. Tall is great.
You know, so
the pool gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
David, the more you get hotter as a man as you grow older.
That's true.
You know, you don't regress.
No.
Like the pool gets bigger, but for the mere fact that my eyes are shut and focused on this one person, I'm so proud of my relationship. I talk about my relationship everywhere I go because it's the one. My sister always says like the one successful thing I've had over the past 10 years is my relationship.
Really?
Yeah. You know,
what's so special about her that you are? Well, you're clearly able to focus here.
I don't know. I think what's so special about my girlfriend is that the intention when we started was not to build what we had. It was just 2 kids. She was 20, I was 24. You know, it was just 2 kids. Like, we're just excited, both of us, you know. But she held me down, you know, like she was with me when things were happening for me.
When your pool was big.
Yeah, you know, like things are happening. Brands had, like, David, now all my contracts were like a soccer player contract. Brands are buying from, even me standing right now, they bought me from another brand. I'm not talking about something that happened 10 years ago. I'm talking about something that happened 4 months ago.
Anela's radio contract.
Yeah, like
best in the country.
All my deals are sexy deals. They major deals. You understand? So I had multiple of those and my girl was there and I was popping and I was on every show and she was there and she was there with me. I remember the day I sold my car, and I was taking a taxi and I was making demands in a taxi and the driver was like, my girl was with me.
You still had the attitude of a guy
who
owns a
where's
car.
a car? You know,
I like that.
My girl was with me.
I wonder what kind of demand would you make?
Oh man, I was so demanding.
Taxi driver,
I was so demanding. I was not humbled yet.
No.
Yeah, I was not humbled yet.
And she was there to see that.
She was there to see that. My girlfriend's been with me and we dream together and I've seen her grow and evolve and she's seen me grow and evolve as well, you know. And the mere fact that she was able to come into my family with no judgments at all. My mom, she's my younger sister. We go to my sister's Instagram and stuff. She's my younger sister.
So she's there.
Yeah, like she's an extension of the family. Like she's an extension of me. We are one thing, you know. She's the fun side of me. She helps me enjoy everything that I'm working so hard for because it's so hard to enjoy this thing by myself.
Are you saying you're the type that would make all this money and immediately the thought of enjoying it is not a part of your thoughts?
The more money I have, David, I'm thinking of more ideas to invest in. Like it's like for me, it's money was exciting for a very long time and it got to a point where nothing is that fun for me.
Yeah.
You know, nothing is that fun.
So to have fun, you need You need somebody to make suggestions.
Yeah, you know, and she's my fan. Like, she's like, yo, dog, switch off your phone, switch off this. Like, let's go have proper fun. Let's go get sloshed today.
Yeah.
Let's call an Uber. Let's go have fun.
Jeez.
Let's go have fun. Fun. Let's drive in namhlanje.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great.
I think we all need that.
We all need that, and because we're like, as a man, like you need a best friend that's just gonna get what you need all the time.
Yeah.
You know, because you just you're a lion, you know, you're just hunting all the time.
Not having a dad, what type of personality has it done for you? I mean, access to a father figure.
I think I've intentionally went to men who I think I needed for different stages of my life. I intentionally went there. Okay. You know.
So you spotted the need for it for a dad figure.
Yeah. Hence, because also I don't only have business mentors. I have mentors who are mentoring me when it comes to like relationships.
Life.
People don't understand. Like, you need someone who's gonna coach you when it comes to handling a relationship with a woman as a man. Because women are another business on their own. They're another career.
They are a full-time job.
A woman is a full-time job.
Wow.
You know,
I'm not sure they like this. Maybe they'll be proud to know that, hey, did you hear what Sbu thinks of us?
But a woman is a full-time job, David. A woman needs a focus. I wonder how, like, guys who have how they're doing it, because a woman needs focus.
I know this guy, the TV show, that chap with There's one of my favorite lines, and I've used it so many times. I even have a recording of it. I literally recorded it on TV. He says, "Ning, king, ning."
That man has got so many problems.
When he said that, I was like, dude, you can solve all of this. Why did you get yourself?
Yeah, you know, because I watch how my woman has evolved so much. Like, my girl is not a 20-year-old girl. She's a 27-year-old with totally opposite different needs from when she was at 20.
From the one you met.
Yeah, you know, at 20 McDonald's was cool, simnandi, it's grand. Manje, the conversation is totally different. She's running her own business. She's running speed dating Mzansi.
Okay, wow.
The biggest speed dating platform in the country.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation is totally different, and I had to adjust to that kind of person that she is right now.
And because the change sometimes tend to pull people apart because we are no longer the same.
Yeah.
And for you, as you put it, it has brought you even closer.
It's brought us even closer because now we're no longer just together and having fun only, but siyaspana at the same time. You know, look at a typical day like last week, Wednesday, we went out club hopping in Joburg. Not just for the drinks, but we were looking for new venues for the next event. You know, so that's
so it's you work
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did you get the makeup you were selling at school?
From my mom. My mom and my grand sold everything.
So there was makeup as well.
There was this one time. So my mom realized that I'm making a lot of money from the sweets. You know, because remember, I had a dope business. I had my brand right now is Sbu Socks S. At the time, it was strong, sexy, and sweet. And those were my early days of realizing the power of branding.
And you're a kid.
Slogan. Yeah. And my peers were selling for 20 cents. I was selling for 30 cents because I had this cool slogan.
The slogan made it more expensive.
My personality as well.
Yeah.
My name at the time was Sibusiso Matigizela Mandela Nicholas Cage, because my middle name is Nicholas.
So it's like, hoy.
Everything. People loved the personality. People loved buying from me and stuff. And then this one time, my mom slipped in makeup in my bag. It's like, Okombi say, abutisha style le makeup. You know, so I'd start going to them, sell them lipstick, sell them blush, sell them foundation, sell them this, and then it started growing from there.
And they bought and they bought and they kept on buying.
I'm happy my mom did that for me, because it was embarrassing when I was starting this business. It wasn't a sexy business.
The socks,
you know. But I learned from an early age. I'll sell anything.
Yeah.
Because I knew at the time, I'm gonna be a joke to my peers for 5 days in a week, but on Friday I'm gonna buy myself a brand new T-shirt, or I'm gonna take myself out, or I'm gonna
and they won't have the money to do that.
They won't have the money. It's their money, actually.
That will take you.
That will take me there. So I knew very early on, man, just if I slim for a while, as long as you know where you're benefiting.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But what was embarrassing about it? Because I guess we look at it always in hindsight. In hindsight, damn, the idea worked.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been embarrassing. What was embarrassing?
Imagine, David, you are 21.
Yeah.
Braamfontein and Auckland Park, it's student town.
True.
Right? Every student is cool. And when you out here, everywhere you're going, there's a brown paper bag next to you with socks. And other people, they have cool jobs or they come from well-off families. And remember, because I intentionally went for friends who come from well-off families. They don't have these funny side hustles that I have, you know. So that was the
daddy's money.
Yeah, that is the embarrassing part of it. Or if they've a side hustle, it's a cool side hustle.
True. They drive the what is that car? The Red Bull.
Red Bull.
They're driving the Red Bull
that's
car
their hustle.
or something cool like
that's
that.
That's their hustle. And it's the age where I'm starting to now get in the world of dating and stuff.
Yeah.
So like how do you tell a girl that like
I sell socks?
You know, like it's not like you're running Skinny Sbu Socks.
No, you're selling
now I can tell anybody. No, now I'm actually more
I'm
humble.
the founder of Skinny
I don't
Sbu
tell
Socks.
people what I do now. It's like, nah, I don't, you know.
And there was a time where you were embarrassed.
I was embarrassed to
Actually,
say.
different types of embarrassment.
Yeah.
Then you were embarrassed because it was not cool.
Yeah.
Now you're embarrassed because it sounds like you're trying to show off.
I'm trying to show off. You know, I'd rather tell people, no, I put it that way. And
Yeah.
then it clicks like, it's like, oh, snap.
That logo on your
Actually.
How did the name come out? Is it as obvious as I think?
Yeah, it is as obvious, but there's a deeper meaning. You know, it is obvious. I'm skinny.
Skinny.
I'm
you're
Sbu.
Sbu. You're selling socks.
That's it. You know, but also I like how it rhymes, how it sounds.
True.
And, stuff.
And how it looks.
How it looks. By the way, Putsi Sopasha created this logo. Thank you very much to him.
Yeah.
So
and it worked, eh?
It worked. The deeper meaning behind Skinny Sbu Socks was I was very insecure about my weight and height. You know, I was extremely tall and skinny,
lanky, 20-year-old.
Yeah, and remember in high school they were teasing me for my height and weight. You know, and I remember saying, you know what, I want to create a global brand, that is going to celebrate who I am, right? And I want to put it on a global scale, and I want people to look at this tall, skinny guy who's celebrating himself. And whether you're short, you're tall, you're dark skinned, you're extremely light, you're big, you're whatever you are, whatever insecurities you have, I want you to look at me and celebrate yourself. You know, so the intention, I didn't even think about like market segments and stuff. This was not intended for skinny people.
No,
not even there. You know, this was just to say for people to look at me and me celebrating myself and be like, yeah, man, this thing is cool.
Oh, take credit.
Yeah, and I think we're not doing too bad.
It worked, eh?
Yeah.
The question that has to do with how you name your socks, individual socks, because it's not one or two. It's not streetwise two.
Yeah.
And then they have another 3 months to come up with another one. How do you do that?
So remember, I told you that I'm a born storyteller. My grandmother was an incredible storyteller, and I was trained as a storyteller in the school for speech and drama. So I try to use this small canvas as my outlet for me to continue telling stories. Since I don't have a stage or a mic or TV, I'll use this just a pair of socks. So I started then naming all my collections after a certain theme. And I name each socks after that theme. So
it's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's fun. It's part of the fun. Because remember, my job is 80% boring, admin, business things. So the 20% I get to design and come up with the concept, I just juice it. You know. So I sit and look at different concepts. I think when I was starting out, we're doing a lot of tribal stuff.
Okay.
Because those are things that set us apart, you know, in the global scale. You look at our 2015 collection called most selling collection called the Czar Royalty Collection, where we went down history books. And we looked at the the founders of this land. So we have 5 designs there. There's King Shaga, there's Mushweshwe, the Basotho design sock, there's Uyinza for the Xhosa sock. So we go down and really try and tell our stories. But after that, after I had exhausted that for a while, and when people were tired of those our tradition and where we come from, I started telling urban stories, you know, and looking where I was, I'm now 27. I'm in love. I started telling stories about love, about dreams, about leaving home and coming to Joburg and making friends and having fun. So you look at that is my designs almost tell you where I'm at
in your life.
Time,
you're like a songwriter.
Yeah, I'm like a songwriter. So a couple of weeks back, I was in New York already. I designed it because I now have a technical skill to design. So I designed already something that is inspired by New York. I've already designed something that's inspired by LA and the people there. You know,
it's amazing.
So wherever I'm at in life inspires my design and my storytelling.
So for me, what's amazing about your story is you forced your real passion into
this
something else completely unrelated if you were to look at it simply.
Definitely, because for a very long time, you know, David, I was really trying to say either or. Either I'm gonna be an entertainer, or I'm gonna go into business, you know, or I'm gonna just drop this and go into this. And then I realized, there are things in life that you need to do because it's working out.
Yes, keep going.
Just do it. Like Sbu Socks has been working out dog, for 9 years right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just gonna keep it going. But I'm gonna try to find a fun element that's gonna that I'm gonna do for me, at least. You know.
What do you say when you look at the brands that we have now, your Batus and all of that?
Yeah.
What do you say to, not necessarily to them, but about them, looking at them because this is a journey you've walked before. Yes, one may say it was relatively smaller, but it wasn't. The scale was just as ridiculous. What do you say when you look at them? It's like, damn it, man! I remember this.
I think they're genius, man. I think Theo, I think Tep, I think, and it's not only the 3 of them. You know, it's not only there's a lot of them. I think they just genius, and everybody has their own special skill and talent, and it's evident out there, you know, through their business, through their product, you know. So I'm just happy that there's a lot of people like me who, you know, it's funny how the conversation is different when we all meet.
Yes.
Because we do meet.
What do you talk about?
You know, and we hardly ever talk about business, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about life, man, and business and stuff. There's no competition at all. There's not even a competition between Drip and Batu. They are not competing.
Yeah.
We are all fighting. We know who we are fighting.
Yes. That's it.
All know.
The fight is much bigger than that. And you need all these people and more.
All of us, the collective conversation is trying to bring the people back to our communities.
Yeah.
That is it. So I'm just happy that there's more and more of us, and I am happy that we are doing it for our people, our way, and we are doing it for the world as well. And we're taking out there. Like, it's so nice. Like, it's nice. Imagine how nice it is to watch it. Imagine how nice it is to be part of it, in the thick of it. So we are almost doing what Tommy Hilfiger and Ralph Lauren were doing almost the same time. Your Nike and Adidas were doing at the same time.
Steve Jobs and Microsoft
at the same time. So with us, we are that in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, so it's fun, man. It's fun, and I wish more and more people can also like have the courage to do their own thing, and join us.
Do you know, a few episodes back we had Nkosana, the guy who's fighting with Vodacom for his cash. He had him in this very studio. And he said, imagine if Vodacom had celebrated him and given him the freedom to become what he became right at the beginning. Imagine how many other kids would have been inspired by that,
Mm-hmm.
to be innovative, to think it's possible, to think of an idea and actually somebody buys it.
Yeah.
Because we still believe that your idea can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's
People operate from a place of scarcity and they think the pie is ending and they think the pie is small.
small.
Like the more, David, like you embrace more of your ideas, you realize how big the pie is and how many the pies are.
There's not even one pie.
There's not even one pie. Like the more you spread, like people who are billionaires, they're billionaires because they have a stake in different pies. You know, so it's too big, David. Like you don't know how many doors just working with the Grammys open for me.
Imagine that.
Not even in America only. Elsewhere in the globe.
And it's not doors you had anticipated will ever open.
Me, I thought it's going to open doors in America and I'm going to do my thing and goes, it's opening doors elsewhere in the world. So I think people operating from a place of scarcity, and once you can open yourself up to embrace your next idea, it's going to open you up to more. Who would have thought? I was not even intending to do this for 10 years.
No.
You know, but look at what it's doing. It's put structure in my life for 10 years and opened more doors for me.
There are more pies. Lindelani Mkhize has said, make music.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who want your music.
That's it.
And no, don't be scared. Don't think, there's too many artists.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to tell you that we don't have a lot of artists in South Africa. We run out of music to play. And I mean this very kindly because some people can interpret this wrong. Not all songs are great. So as a result, we can't play all songs. And for us, greatness has to do with appeal to our audience. It has to work for our audience. And we know when we say, geez, man, I wish so-and-so could create another album. We want more. That's one. Two, I do a show with Telkom. It's a live show that we record for SABC1. We are on season 3. I've used a lot of artists because I can't repeat. I can't repeat musicians I've used. We're supposed to produce season 4. I'm already scratching my head. Do you see the challenge we face? Because we sold the idea as a show that will one use the same art, rather will one use a new artist every time, not new artist, but a artist that hasn't been
on the platform
that hasn't been featured before. That's one. Two, and we promise that all of them will be number one. I've had them all. I've had Nasty C, I've had all AKA, and Casper Fest.
All of them.
So already that tells you. I've had A-Reese. Already that tells you hip hop. Damn it. This moments like this makes me sad about Ricky Rick because he was on my list.
Man.
And production of your fest. Because, a lot of people fear. Business is a lot of fears. You had them. And you said even now, the next stage of your life even scares you too.
Yeah, I've been preparing for 3 years for it.
Do you see what I mean? The fear and transitioning from fear is not easy in business. And because business has always been so far away from us as Abotaki, it's always been a tuck shop and very immediate things like selling makeup or whatever. So the fear that you speak of, and now moving to a Cape Town to produce, how did that say this is starting to make sense? Or was it as organic, literally one step at a time?
It was organic. It was one step at a time.
Yeah. And maybe less overwhelming in that way.
No, but at the time it was big, man. It was big. I remember my Cape Town trip, I only had $500 to buy a bus ticket. My mom wangenzela isikhafuthini umphago to go to Cape Town.
What was that goal? To research?
Yeah, that was to research because I'd found the factories online. Now I needed to go visit them. Okay. So I only had money to go to Cape Town. That's it. But I told my mom I have money to come back as well because she was gonna panic, Then wangenzela umphago and stuff. And I think it was a couple of days before Nick invested in the business.
Yeah.
So I got to Cape Town. Now the thrill and excitement of being in Cape Town runs out. Now so feel like within an hour or two. Now you realize you don't have a place to sleep.
Unless you're going back the same night.
Yeah, you don't have a place to sleep. I don't even have money to go back.
Sure.
I go on Twitter, and that's when I also started embracing the power of using your public platform. the power of being vulnerable as well in public. It's embarrassing in the short term, but it has results. So I went on Twitter. I was like, hey, Cape Town, I'm in Twitter. Hook your boy up with accommodation. and
It's so unthinkable.
yeah, you know,
Yes.
but I was desperate.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
this guy Wati, and this guy Wati comes in. He's like, he sends me an inbox. Is like, I'm at work. I'm knocking off at 5. I'll find you at the train station, and then we'll go to my place. Then went to his place. Sent Nick an inbox and stuff. It's like, I'm in New York. I'll send you money. And then I think at night he sent me money. I had accommodation then. Money for 2 days and money to go back home. But
that first night.
those were my early days of leveraging my fame.
Yeah.
And realized very early that fame has some power.
Oh, the name was already out there because even Nick had spotted you on CNN.
Yeah,
and so
people
forth.
already started talking, you know.
Yeah.
And since then, how I got the money to go to the Grammys, how I got the partnership with Standard Bank was because the Grammys gave me a deal 2 days before Christmas last year. I don't have money to produce. I don't have money to do this. I don't have money for a lot of things. I went on Twitter. I'm like, hey guys, I got a deal with the Grammys. I need money
To go.
Yeah. And then brands started coming through.
It's like, hey, not we saw this.
Yeah. So people are ashamed, you know, and mina like Dave, mina ngamahloni jo.
That's amazing.
Mina ngamahloni, and I'm still gonna ask. If South
Yes.
Africa thinks I'm done, I am still gonna ask, and the right people are going to come, and the people who have an eagle eye vision are gonna come and partner with me.
Do you know, you telling the story of you're going to ask and you have asked now makes the 5 million rand statement make sense. Because you're that type of guy who will say, no one is going to speak, I'll speak.
But Elon Musk asked for 44 billion.
No, I know. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know,
If no one is speaking, I'm speaking.
Yeah, I'll speak. Mina ngisayicela you and America manje Americans azongizwa. Americans asayonkayinyuke baya.
Yeah.
South Africa doesn't know. Americans asayonkayinyuke baya because I've got a huge vision, and unfortunately, whatever the amount of money I have in my pocket, it won't finance my next dream because it's too big.
But you're going to.
Big. I'm gonna ask.
There's a statement that what's his name, Quincy Jones says. They ask him, with all the things that you've achieved, you've influenced all types of music genres in your lifespan, and you're still fairly humble.
Yeah.
They ask, why is that? He says, because his dreams are too big and he hasn't achieved them, so he's too small in relation to his dreams.
Yep.
He feels like
Yeah.
like, so as a small boy like that, he doesn't feel like he should be. His ego should be too big. It's like, I can't, man. If you knew the size of my dreams.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the same for you to say where you're going. It's so big.
It's too. I'm still gonna ask for votes. Remember where we're going. So
you're gonna be competing with Tutuzan. Good luck with that.
You know, but
actually, I think he's going now.
Yeah, he's going now. I'm probably going to be president after Julius. I believe that Julius is going to be our president.
Yeah.
He's ordained to be our president. He's got it. You know, he's got that thing. He's going to be president. I'll probably be president after him.
So that means at some point you're going to compete with Julius for elections. Remember, you have to kick somebody out.
I think Julius is the type that's gonna just go for his term, 1 or 2 terms, and
then he's
not a greedy type.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as someone who's gonna to rule forever.
Yeah.
You know, remember at the time he'd be probably exhausted because this thing needs stamina. You know, and he's been building EFF.
Sure.
Actually, EFF is the same years as Sbu Socks.
Oh yes.
You know, we started in 2013.
Yeah, so you can appreciate the exhaustion.
Yeah. So by the time he gets in there, he'll probably do his thing and just leave in peace.
And then you come in.
And then I'm gonna come in at the right time.
Future news. Sbu, president of South Africa.
Yeah.
You gotta like that.
Yep. We're going there. We're going there. And I'm preparing for it. And I'm not gonna stop talking about it because everything I've spoken about, it was a joke. You know, it was a joke. And I did it in record time. You know, I know right now the conversation about the US is bubbling under, and people are like, no, but why don't you keep it under wraps and do your thing? And then I'm not that type.
No.
Live cash, not deposit, 100%. You know, and I'm gonna I'm gonna have speed bumps. I'm gonna have whatever. I'm gonna experience everything, but you will be watching.
Yeah.
And what's gonna inspire you is that you saw me first trying to go there and me being there.
Mm-hmm. Because let's say it together, because you're number one.
Because I'm number one, no doubt. No doubt.
I like that.
No
eh?
doubt.
Atiam, I'm inspired by your bravery. I'm inspired by your ability to stand up and speak when everybody else is not sure whether they should be saying anything. You know, if you've been to a funeral, you know, there's always that lady keeping home.
Yeah.
There's one lady who's always where everybody else is waiting. It's like, and then Mruti Batong. So you don't even wait for Mruti to say how, but
I don't wait for it. But you know, funny enough, when you mention funerals, I haven't attended a funeral for a very long time.
Yeah.
I intentionally don't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I told my mom, I told my family, like, if for me, this is my rule. If I haven't seen you in 6 months, that means we're not that tight, right?
Yeah.
If I haven't seen you in 6 months and you decide to die, then,
Hard.
yeah, you know, because also I don't have high expectations for my funeral. I'd like to be buried like Brahu. We don't know what happened. Just passed on and that's it.
Oh yes, actually.
Yeah, so for me, it's like a funeral is a very intimate thing. I'm happy for what COVID did. I'd really like to have,
made them smaller.
yeah, I'd really like to have very close family and
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Pampate, pila.
So you don't.
That's it.
You're essentially saying people mustn't feel bad if you don't come to their funeral.
Nah, if that means you're not tired, dog. Like,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, you know,
And besides,
you are gone. You are gone, by the way.
But you know how it is, man. It gets complicated with that.
Nah, David, like,
I attend funerals. I'll tell you, it's really my mother's teaching.
I've spoken to my mom. I'm at a point right now where going home is now far, and by the home is 45 minutes away.
Yes, it's in the East End. Yeah.
So I told them, like, I'm inspiring. If I'm not using energy, I'm sparing it, you know, because what I'm doing, David, like, it requires a lot from me, and I don't have, you know.
And now you still have this funeral on Saturday.
And now I have this funeral on Saturday and everything. So
Sometimes you go on Friday night.
yeah.
We need to see your
Yeah. So I just don't have it. I have a lot in front of me, and I'm glad I'm saying it on a public platform. I'm not coming.
Ungafi.
I'm not coming.
Yes, that's a typical thing. This is a 5 million moment. I guess.
Ushonele now. Oh, so Shona mama 60 years from now, 70, whatever. Not now.
It's too early.
It's too early. Keep it moving now.
I like that. You know, it brings us nicely to the end of this. You're an amazing guy. For me, you're one of my favorite South Africans, and I've been watching you from a distance.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we've reduced this distance.
And by the way, I'm not just a South African. I'm a national treasure.
Listen to that. Number one. I call you Sbu is number one. So you can't. Because we are too humble, man. South Africans.
Yeah.
We need the spirit of Nigerians. The spirit of Americans.
Taking over. Yeah.
Of saying Monge Nanji. It's like you're the brightest one here.
Yeah.
Even if
yeah. But also I think, you know, it has its own place. You know, the number one thing is a show thing.
No, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You don't use it when you don't need it.
In private spaces, the humility works a lot.
Yeah.
It works wonders.
You should see Sbu's humility, man. DJ Sbu.
That guy.
He's a rock star.
Oh, that guy. That guy is so humble.
Yes.
He's so humble.
I had an event I was doing with my nephews, and I asked him to join me.
Yeah.
And he said, that's cool. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, you know, at my house in Midrand. And he said, no, come fetch me, you know, because I don't have a ride where I am. And I drove past, I fetched him. I told him what I was doing with my nephews. I was encouraging them to get into business. And we drove there. I just sat quietly waiting because we were waiting for these boys. I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
I know they're big fans of his. And we waited, and he was minding his business. 2 hours later, they arrived, these boys. And I tell them, we've been waiting, you idiots. You know, you can't delay this guy. Don't worry about it, man. I have nothing else to do today.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. And there they came. He spoke to them to encourage them, and I dropped him off where he was going next. And I remember thinking, That was so easy.
Yep.
I didn't ask much of him except to help me do this thing with my boys because I think they need encouragement and mentorship. And that played a huge role.
I love DJ Sbu so much. I used to bunk school on Fridays in high school and go look at him in that YFM window.
Oh, yes.
Do his thing. And
that must be which one?
at the Zone.
Rosebank. The Rosebank, yes. Because you could see them,
You could see them. And over the years, it's been my mentor, showed me the ropes and how to play this thing, you know. Quite recently, when I was launching, he was my MC as well.
Jeez.
So we've grown to be like, he's my older brother now. And he texts me, he voice notes me, he encourages me. He's been on my corner. He's one of the few people who are in my corner, because remember, after that 5 million rand thing, nobody wanted to be around me because I then experienced like depression and stuff. So the first person to give me a call was Bob Mabena.
Hey.
Yes.
To say, hey, man.
Great gem.
Yeah.
You know, gave me a call, invited me over. Vusi Tembugwayo and DJ Sbu. Those were the first 3 people to just reach out to me and be like, yo, dog, we're here with you.
Don't worry about it.
Just work.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's amazing how that moment on social media was just a trend.
Yeah.
And for you, it was
real. Hands right now, like I take it serious. Like I wish people can use social media to enrich themselves and realize that every word matters. You know, when you are making fun about, I don't care how big that star is and you think that thing doesn't get to them. One day when they're scrolling, they see a comment about you commenting about the size of their head or something. It's a real person. It goes somewhere. So for me, that one moment made it real for me. I don't bash anybody. I have nothing to say bad about anybody.
No.
Nothing.
And you realize in that moment that was probably no need to even be nasty to anybody.
Even politicians, I got nothing to say about anybody because that's someone else's parent, you know. And people who criticize a lot, I'm like, have you been president? You know what it takes to your worry on a daily is 50-something million.
Do you know what I mean?
You know?
Yes.
So it's easy to talk when you're on the outside or when you've never been in a position of leadership to criticize. Yeah.
Wow, man, I wish you well. May the next 3 years, 2 years, 2 weeks of your life be amongst the greatest you've ever had.
Thank you, man.
I think you're a special South African, and moments like this makes us all realize that it's not where you're from, because where you're from did not define, and it continues not to define where you end up. If anything, it's a story to tell.
It's content.
Yes.
God was just giving me
content. Exactly.
It's perspective.
Imagine if you were born with Petit Mal. The story is not that interesting.
Yeah.
So where you're from is content. And I like that you reduce it to that.
Yeah.
To say, don't get caught up in it. It's just content.
As a matter of fact, I think people who experience hardship early, it's a blessing. Because by the way, trust me, we're all going to experience hardship. It's
at some point,
you know? But if you get to experience it early, you get to navigate it and work around it.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, it was a blessing.
And you'd rather learn to navigate through it very early than very late.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Imagine if you were born with money and now you're struggling.
It's so hard. How many people you grew up with, David, who grew up in a very nice family and mom and dad pass away like this, and then it's over.
Yes.
They chow their house, they chow the money that was left for them and stuff because they've never been exposed to hardship.
No, jeez. We all know a story like that. They were in a shop.
Yep.
They had a big house.
They had it nice.
They had big windows when it was still a thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you. We won't finish, eh?
No. And I know this.
No. If we continue like this, we won't finish.
There's more.
Yeah.
And a lot more. I keep going. I'm a writer of questions.
No, but trust me, I'm going out there to do big things so that I can earn sitting here again. Hopefully this year when I come back. My project is starting on the 15th of June.
Yeah.
And I'm wrapping up on the 15th of November.
Wow.
I've been psyching myself and preparing myself for this. And I'm hoping end of November, I'm going to be sitting here with you debriefing.
I wish you so well because I'm going through my own fears now.
Okay.
So to see someone who admits to fear and still put on a helmet and say, I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to me.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who look at me and think that I've done
man.
okay. You have no idea the fears that I deal with on a daily basis. I say this, God gives me a lot, but He denies me sleep, and I know why, because I'm always in fear of the worst possible outcome. And I just remember when I said to you that God is okay. He's consistent. You're the problem. I know that because I live it every day. So, and the challenge with it is knowing and believing that I'll be okay. The story will end well.
Yeah.
Believing that is hard.
It's hard, man.
And for people like yourself to say that it does end well, even the worst of it is actually not so bad.
Yep.
I was cock. Everybody, Sbu Socks.
Yes.
Yeah, Skinny Sbu Socks. Go get it. You said www.skinnysbustore.com.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Big things are coming, eh?
Yep.
And people like this, when they say big things are coming, they're not just talking. It's not launching an album.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, in case you're launching an album.
King David Studio Podcast.